possible. Away from that, today I want us to look at something different. You know, agriculture remains the backbone of our economy here in the country, and recently declining bee populations are posing a growing threat not only to honey production but also to yields, crop yields and livelihood. So we want to look at why our future depends on bees, and this comes on the sidelines of the World Bee Day, which is marked every 20th of May, and this year it will be happening on 20th under the theme Be Together for People and the Planet. I will be having Dinah Bosibori Momanyi, who is a livestock production officer, to talk more about that. Today on our Family Check segment, we'll be looking at marriage and modern day challenges and how we can restore matrimonial foundation. I'll be having Cleopa Njiro, who is a counseling psychologist and founder, Viva Mind Solutions Limited, and also Apostle Helen Anthony, who is a financial advisor, counselor, and founder, Marital Travel International, as well as Kevin Nyamache, who is a mentor, life coach, and CEO of Edulite International. Those are two conversations that will be coming to you later on in the program, so I implore you to tune into this live broadcast. Remember, we are at KBC Channel 1 on all our social media platforms. You can also visit us on our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. Once again, my name is Mike Migwe. Good morning, Marie.
A very good morning to you, Mike. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning to you too.
How are you?
Arsenal is winning the league today. Tutapiga Burnley tukishapiga vizuri sana tuwafunge dan.
So have you played or not yet?
Marie.
Have you played or not yet?
We are playing tonight, Monday Night Football.
So how do you know you're going to win?
I'm fine. In fact, let me just stay like this.
Confident match.
I'm easy.
I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
In fact, that's the reason I was asking you how you are. So I hope that you'll sleep well tonight.
Unaona venye niko hivi? This I'm going to sleep. In fact, I wake up in the morning and put on another suit and come to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm also well. Nice
You've
to
been
see
away
you.
for some time. We've for a day or two. I didn't see you around the compound.
When?
Last week?
Yeah. I've been away.
Yes.
Took a break.
Which is good.
Yeah, but now I'm back. Kazi lazima ifanywe.
Yeah. Do you know even Jesus rested at some point in the ship? Remember?
Even God said that you need to rest.
It's
on the
good
seventh
food.
day. Yes.
So that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So thank you so much. And just to chime into what you guys were talking about, the Matatu strike, definitely that's going to cause a little bit of disruption, or at least disruption, let me put it that way, because transport is everything. People are coming from far and wide, you know, but something needs to be done in as far as, you know, why they're striking, and that is because of the fuel hikes, you know, and that in itself just causes fares to rise, the cost of living and everything. But something needs to be addressed so that the common wananchi doesn't find themselves in situations, you know. But all that will be covered for you this morning. Our reporters will be all over, just trying to look at what is happening around the country in as far as the Matatu strike is concerned. A very good morning from wherever you are joining us. My name is Maria, and of course we begin with that particular story where the National Police Service, the NPS, has assured Kenyans of adequate security as the planned Matatu strike kicks off today. NPS says security agencies are prepared to maintain order and ensure normal operations across the country. In a statement issued, a director of corporate communications and NPS spokesperson, Mushiri Nyaga, said they had taken note of reports of a planned strike allegedly organized by a section of public service vehicle operators and a minority of Matatu stakeholders. However, the police maintain that the majority of the players in the transport sector remained committed to continuing operations without disruption. Now, according to the NPS, the position had also been reinforced by the United Transport Association of Kenya, which reportedly distanced itself from the planned strike through a separate statement. The police has urged members of the public to remain calm and continue with their daily activities as usual, adding that security measures had already been enhanced in anticipation of possible disruption. That is a statement from the National Police Service that was issued after the Matatu's owners issued their strike that began midnight, last night. Let's begin to the real cause of this Matatu strike, and pressure continues to mount on the government to address the rising fuel prices to reduce the equally rising cost of living in the country. Manyata Member of Parliament Gitonga Mukunji is among those proposing urgent removal of value-added tax on petroleum products, even as a section of players in the public service vehicle sector maintain they will join the planned nationwide Matatu operators strike and protest on Monday.
The Member of Parliament Gitonga Mukunji says Parliament should move with speed to review the taxation policies on fuel to provide immediate relief to Kenyans who are already grappling with harsh economic conditions.
Uganda saa hii mafuta iko chini kuliko Kenya. Mafuta ya Uganda inapitia Kenya ikienda Uganda. Distance ni kubwa, inafaa kuwa more expensive. Mafuta Ethiopia is cheaper. Mafuta Tanzania is cheaper. Sasa wewe unatuambia ati mafuta imepandishwa na vita ya Iran na US. Hiyo ni uongo. Ile kitu tunajua ni lazima kukuwe na measures za kuweka mafuta, bei ya mafuta chini.
Speaking separately, Machakos County Governor Wavinya Ndeti has urged the national government to lower fuel prices, saying the continued increase is worsening the cost of living for many Kenyans.
Unajua mafuta ikipanda, kila kitu inapanda. Kaza hapa Mavoko. Now since the fuel is high, the production, I have a lot of industries here. The cost of production in my industries has gone up. Na ndio naona watu wameanza kuhama huku, wanaenda Tanzania, wanaenda Uganda, wanaenda kufungua mafactory huku.
This is a section of Matatu operators in Narok Town, Narok County, are threatening to join the planned nationwide demonstrations against the recent increase of fuel prices.
Hivi sasa saa hii hatujui tutafanya namna gani. Juu sasa ile pesa imeongezwa diesel ama mafuta yoyote hapa nchini hatujaisikia tangu nchi ilivyoumbwa.
Hii jambo imetufinya sana. Na tunaomba serikali waangalie hiyo masuala kwa sababu magari mingi itarudishwa. Sababu ni ya deni. Sisi tunaambiwa tutafute pesa, unajaribu kwenda kwa barabara, unakosa watu wa kubeba.
Sasa tunafanya kazi ya bure na hakuna faida tunapata. So tunaomba serikali irudisha mafuta chini. Tena mafuta ikipanda hadi manyumbani kwetu tunakuta vitu zingine zimepanda, kama sukari inapanda, kila kitu itapanda kwa sababu ya diesel.
Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi says the government is working round the clock to stabilize the fuel prices and ease the burden on Kenyans. Wandayi spoke while launching electricity poles distribution in Vihiga County. Tilio Marco reporting for Good Morning Kenya.
To political matters, where the government has announced plans to intensify the crackdown on political violence across the country to ensure smooth elections next year amid concerns of political hooliganism. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who spoke in Cherangani, Trans Nzoia County, said both political divides will not be spared.
Speaking in Cherangany, Trans Nzoia County, during Cherangany Unity Cup tournament, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen accused a section of politicians of orchestrating political violence to suppress their opponents' influence ahead of the 2027 elections. Murkomen saying the crackdown will target both Kenya Kwanza and the United Opposition camps.
Na nimeona kuna viongozi wengine wanalia kwamba tunaondoa watu wa kuumiza watu. I am telling them the time of using young people to cause violence, to cause insecurity is over.
In Mombasa County, Governor Abdul Somad Sharif Nasir backed President William Ruto's re-election, saying his administration is keen to address land injustices in the region.
Hata hatujafika kuungana kisawasawa, tumeungana kwa sababu ya mambo ya broad base. Tayari tunaona yale manufaa kwamba yaliyoko.
This is Orange Democratic Movement Nairobi branch chairperson George Aladwa said political party zoning is a condition for coalition agreement with United Democratic Alliance.
Zoning lazima ikuweko, na ndio mazungumzo namba 1. Zoning ikuweko na zoning ifuatwe 2027. Ndio tupate viti na vyama zote ziheshimike, na vyama pia ziwe na viti katika county assemblies, ziwe na viti katika bunge na katika senate.
Speaking separately in Trans Nzoia County, Saboti lawmaker Caleb Hamithi said Edwin Sifuna should be the opposition's presidential flag bearer as a condition to strike a coalition deal between the United Opposition and Linda Grand faction of ODM.
Tunataka United Opposition iunge Sifuna mkono and not the other way around. Kama Sifuna hayuko kwa ballot, we are going to have voter apathy. Vijana watapiga kura.
However, Democracy for Citizens Party Deputy Leader Cleophas Malala, while speaking in Meru County, said the United Opposition is ready to back a flag bearer that will be endorsed by all affiliate parties.
Hatutagawanyika. Kama atakuwa Rigathi Gachagua, sawa. Kama atakuwa Martha Karua, sawa. Kama atakuwa Kalonzo Musyoka, sawa. Bora mtu yoyote.
Meanwhile, Garissa County gubernatorial race is taking shape as Senator Abdul Haji seeks support from Ali Yahayan and Samawadal clans to boost his bid.
Kwa nini watu wako na wasiwasi hii jamii mbili ikikuja pamoja? Ni kwa ajili hawataki tupigane na ufisadi. Ni kwa ajili hawataki tulete maendeleo kwa watu yetu. Ni kwa ajili hawataki tulete haki katika kila jamii.
In Kirinyaga County, former woman representative in the National Assembly Wangui Kirishi, who is aspiring to vie for the governor position, slammed leaders preaching against electing another female governor in 2027 elections.
Mtu anajileta mwenyewe, ajitetee mwenyewe na kuwe na qualifications za kukuwa leader kama governor ama kiti yoyote, tutachagua mtu kulingana na qualifications zake.
Give us Maana, Channel 1.
Let's cross over to Azerbaijan, where President William Ruto held bilateral talks with President Ilham Aliyev of Azerbaijan at Baku Olympic Stadium on the sidelines of the World Urban Forum in Baku. Discussions between the two leaders focused on fostering collaboration in the oil and gas sector, investment to scale up the affordable housing program, and renewable energy partnerships to support Kenya's target of generating 10,000 megawatts of power. They also discussed Azerbaijan's interest in the proposed oil refinery project that will serve the East African region. The president is in Azerbaijan to attend the 13th session of the World Urban Forum, where Kenya is expected to showcase its affordable housing program as a model for sustainable urban development and economic transformation. And away from that, let's look at Crime Watch, where a family in Kiritiri, Mbeere South constituency in Embu County, is mourning the death of their 27-year-old daughter after she succumbed to severe burns sustained in a suspected acid attack. Jacqueline Wanjiru is said to have been attacked early Saturday morning while on a border on her way to Kiritiri Market.
At the Embu Level 5 hospital, the family of the late Jacqueline Wanjiru is coming to terms with her demise. A suspected acid attack on Saturday morning left her with serious injuries on the face, chest and lower body.
Kidogo wakati wanaenda kuovertake, wakaenda wakaslow down. Kwenda kuslow down, moja kwa moja niliona kitu kimeruswa. Saidi sasa, huyu mwenye nilikuwa nimebeba, kikakuja kikamugonga. Alafu hiyo ingine kanimwagikia saidi na ikamwagika hapa mbele.
Sasa vile nilitoka kwa ward kufika hapa nikapata Jackie ameaga. Jackie sijaisikia akiwa na mambo mambaya.
The family is appealing for speedy investigations as they seek justice for Jacqueline.
Wafuatilia hii case juu inaniuma sana. Ni mtoto nimelea, nimesomeza. Ako na mtoto mmoja, sio mwesikia, ni wa umri wa chini. Haki yake ipatikane.
Elsewhere, sorrow and anger filled Maburu Primary School in Tigania East Sub-County, Meru County, as thousands of mourners gathered for a requiem mass for 6 youth from Amuthumba who were killed by suspected bandits earlier this week at Mlima Rasta. A section of political leaders condemned the worsening insecurity in the region, calling on the government to take urgent action against rising cases of banditry.
Kabla ufanye transfer yoyote, ni lazima ufanye kitu inaitwa public participation. Viongozi, hawezi leta kiongozi ambaye wananchi wapo hamtaki. Hata ukisema unajenga barabara ama unajenga hospitali, sijui hospitali sitaendwa na nani wakati watu wamekufa.
Ng'ombe zetu zinaibiwa, na badala ya serikali kufuata hizo ng'ombe, vijana wetu wanakuwa exposed wakifuata hizi ng'ombe zetu.
Area security agencies have assured residents of their commitment to investigate the killings, even as they call for calmness.
To matters health now, where the World Health Organization has declared Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, and Uganda an international public health emergency concern. In a statement, WHO said 80 suspected deaths had been reported, 8 laboratory cases confirmed in 246 suspected cases in Ituri province in the DRC. Kenya is on high alert, although no cases have been reported.
According to the World Health Organization, WHO, the current strain of Ebola reported in Ituri province, Democratic Republic of Congo, is caused by the Bundibugyo virus. The virus could cause Ebola hemorrhagic fever, primarily transmitted through direct contact with the blood, body fluids, secretions, or excretions of infected individuals or animals. Early symptoms include fever, muscle pain, fatigue, headache, sore throat. As of Saturday, 8 laboratory cases had been confirmed, 246 suspected cases, and 80 suspected deaths reported across at least 3 health zones, including Bunia, the capital of Ituri province, and the gold mining towns of Mongwalu and Rwampara. 1 case of the virus has been confirmed in the DRC capital, Kinshasa. According to WHO, the virus has spread beyond DRC, with 2 confirmed cases reported in neighboring Uganda. Following the announcement by the WHO that the outbreak is now a global health emergency, countries are on high alert. In Kenya, the Ministry of Health, while confirming there were no cases, said it has activated enhanced preparedness and response measures.
We have issued an advisory to the members of public through press release, and this advisory is aimed to alert Kenyans. And we also want to urge Kenyans to be very vigilant and to report any cases. The Department of Public Health and Professional Standards is up and about to ensure that we have all detected cases worked on, and also the country is on high alert for any eventuality.
They include constituting a national Ebola preparedness team to coordinate readiness activities, placing the National Public Health Emergency Operations Centers on alert for real-time monitoring and coordination, enhancing surveillance for viral hemorrhagic fevers and rapid case detection, strengthening screening at airports, border points, and other points of entry. Other measures include enhancing laboratory preparedness and diagnostic capacity. Members of the public have been urged to maintain high standards of personal hygiene, avoid contact with bodily fluids of sick persons, avoid handling sick or dead animals, seek immediate medical attention if experiencing symptoms consistent with Ebola virus disease, particularly after recent travel to affected areas.
Several residents of Olkokwe village in Mogotio sub-county, Baringo County, are living in fear after water mysteriously began oozing continuously from the ground, flooding farms and homesteads. The water started rising at a small livestock watering point before spreading 3 kilometers, submerging over 250 acres of land and further displacing families. The residents fear the phenomenon could turn their habitat into a new lake.
What was once a dry farmland in Olkokwe village, Kisanana Ward, Mogotio sub-county, is now slowly turning into a vast waterlogged landscape. Roads have been cut off, farms submerged, and families left stranded.
Alianza na kashimo kidogo tu hivi, baada ya mwaka moja hivi, ikaanza kuongezeka.
Despite little rainfall in the area, the water has continued to emerge in different locations, leaving the locals a worried lot.
Sasa maji tulitokea kwa manyumba direct, yani kuna ile nini mashimo kidogo hivi inafanya
tukakaa siku mbili, siku ya tatu usiku maji katokelezea, tulistukia tu maji inatambaa. Viatu inatambaa kwa nyumba.
Ukifika jikoni ametokea chini, amemaliza hiyo sehemu yote ya moto. Hata sasa ni kuama tu, unaenda tu, hata wewe mwenyewe huwezi fukuzwa.
Maji sasa yamefika kwa ile, naona mahindi hiyo kwa gate. Imefika hapa maji ya barabara. Alafu na hii shamba ile alipandwa juzi, maji peke yake. Mahindi hakuna.
Local leaders say more than 60 families are at risk of displacement, with some already abandoning their homes.
One of the residents alikuwa amejimba well hapo, 108 feet. Lakini ukifika kwake saa hii unachota hiyo maji na jack. So kumaanisha kuna maji huku chini yanaongezeka.
Wakati hii menenga ilibuliwa, mimi naona kama iliathiri area hii kwa sababu maji ile ilikuwa kwa wells ilianza kuchipuka ikakuja juu. Maji ikakuja kwa kishindo sasa.
Experts, including those from the Geothermal Development Company who have visited the area, say preliminary investigations suggest underground and surface water systems may have reached saturation levels, forcing water to the surface.
The water is a bit saline and it's not consumable. And also we can see from the site here that animals are also not being able to drink the water.
The incident comes at a time when lakes across the Rift Valley region, including lakes Baringo and Bogoria, continue to experience rising water levels, displacing families following heavy rains. And as uncertainty grows, residents are now appealing for urgent government interventions to save lives and livelihoods. Kamche Menza for Good Morning Kenya.
Let's have a look at news making headlines in the counties where stakeholders in the education sector have launched the Shine Project in Machakos County, an initiative aimed at supporting learners living with disabilities in an effort to promote inclusive education. This and more stories in our County News Roundup.
The Agency for Disability and Development in Africa Program Officer Asenia Kaburu revealed that 27 schools in Machakos County are set to benefit from the Shine project through infrastructural support, learning materials, and capacity building for teachers handling learners with disabilities.
We're going to also be working with 2,754 parents and caregivers of children with disabilities who are going to be engaged through 162 disability inclusion champions.
Elsewhere, over 6,000 students are set to miss school in Naivasha, Nakuru County, after being displaced by the rising waters of Lake Naivasha. Senator Tabitha Karanja warned that 800,000 people living in Kehoto Estate are at risk of contracting waterborne diseases as a result of sewage spillage, which could overwhelm health facilities.
Angalia hapa nimesimama. Kila mtu wamefunga hii biashara zao kwa sababu zote zimeingia maji. Ukiangalia huku chini unaona ni butchery. Ukiangalia hapo unaona ni saloon. Ukiangalia pande hii unaona ni maduka yote imefungwa.
Meanwhile, young people in Kiambu Town constituency have been urged to take advantage of government investments in digital skills training as the demand for tech-driven jobs continue to grow. The call was made during the launch of a digital empowerment program, courtesy of Kiambu Town Member of Parliament, in collaboration with the Romanian Embassy.
We are going to have a lot of work coming from AI, from robotic engineering, and all things that are associated with working online.
The computers are just a tool. Yeah? You are the one.
your soul and your mind.
Separately, students in Likuyani Sub-County have received a major boost after benefiting from the Kakamega County Bursary Program aimed at supporting access to education for vulnerable learners.
Jambo la muhimu zaidi ambao tunaweza pea watoto wetu sio kitu kingine, ni elimu.
30 million ilienda kwa polytechnics na almost 150 million tunapatiana kwa shule zetu za upili.
Finally, Moi Girls Isinya Senior Secondary School in Kajiado County is transforming agriculture into a sustainable source of food and income. This is after turning part of its land into a thriving organic farm that feeds more than 1,800 students.
This is a very important project that any school can introduce because it is going to be of great help to ensure that it stabilizes the feeding of the students.
Joy Naomi reporting for KBC.
A look at sports. The national soccer team Harambee Stars is set to face Kyrgyzstan and Palestine in international friendly matches scheduled the 3rd and the 6th of June in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. Kenya will take on the host on the 3rd of June before playing Palestine. 3 days later, Kenya will be using the friendlies to fine-tune themselves ahead of the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations finals. Harambee Stars head coach Benny McCarthy will also use the friendlies to snap up suitable and skilled players ahead of the continental showcase. The test against Kyrgyzstan, ranked 104 on the FIFA rankings, and Palestine placed 94th, will gauge Kenya's mettle. This will be the second friendly fixture for Kenya after participating in the FIFA friendly series in Kigali in February, where Stars battled Estonia and Grenada. Well, that's where we bring the news to an end this morning. Thank you as always for your time and your company. Remember, the nationwide strike, the Matatu strike, is on, I want to believe, by now. But my colleagues will be up and about just trying to spot check on what is happening. But yes, or as the National Police Service has said, security will also be beefed up around the country just to ensure that members of the public are able to get to the places they need to safely, for that matter. Probably you'll need to take a long trek today, but all the same, we are glad that you could spare time for us this morning. My colleague, that is Victor Law, will be up next with the rest of the Good Morning Kenya crew. My name is Mariambo. Have a great day.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible
Yes.
to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, only on KBC Channel 1.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday from 10 p.m. and a rerun every Tuesday from 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Hebu fikirie environment kama hii hapa Western Kenya. Eti mtu atatoka hapa aende Nairobi kusoma university to conquer the world. Mimi Andrew nitahakikisha hiyo ndoto imezimwa. Tazama hayo yote kwa Gundu KBC Tuesday to Thursday 7:30 p.m. Leo sio kesho.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's now 3 minutes past 7. Good morning. Let's get into it. Being the 18th day of May 2026, let's talk about issues with the fuel in the country, fueling around politics. I know the city is hardly affected when it comes to transport paralysis in the country, where the Matatu Owners Association also announced yesterday that they are going to go on that civil unrest to push the government to act on that. They say that it's going to be unsustainable in the business, and that is really affecting them. But the real person who is getting the real heat is Wanjiku. The cost production, movements of people, as well as households, so many things are affected because of the high cost of fuel. But I want us to understand what is really happening, and I want us to make sense of what's happening in the country and whether this is going to continue and for how many days. The question is, who is going to blink first? The government says that no, it has nothing to do with the government. It's way beyond the national government. Let's make sense of that. I'm joined by Professor Emmanuel Mutisia, who is an educationist and development expert, as well as Mheshimiwa Bernard Kitur, representing the good people of Nandi Hills constituency. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Good morning. How
Good
are
to
you?
see you.
Good to see you again.
You made it.
Yes.
You made it. It's not so easy across the country for today, but I hope that it's going to get settled. Okay, let me take you through the front pages very fast before we get into it. On the front page of the Star, high fuel prices put extra strain on homes and traders. That is basically what I want to talk about today. High fuel prices put extra strain on homes and traders. Impact of US-Iran war hits hard as Matatus threaten boycott. That is in effect. The question is, who is going to blink first? All right, on the front page of the Standard, head in the sand. That is on the front page. And the gentleman here is His Excellency, the President. The gentleman in question, head in the sand. The Standard says that as public anger grows over the record fuel prices spike, President William Ruto and Energy CS Opiah Wandayi have buried their heads in the sand, hoping that the matter will resolve itself. But transport operators have vowed to paralyze travel across the country today to force a response, warning that rising fuel costs, heavy taxation and unstable pricing have made operations unsustainable. In the meantime, the president has flown out of the country while senior officials remain detached, issuing conflicting explanations and defending contested fuel import policies. And on the front page of the Daily Nation, Kenya risks US sanctions over Russian war. And down there, it's all about fuel as well. Protest over high fuel prices set to disrupt public transport. Let's talk about that. US threatened to Kenya risks US sanctions. That 2 US lawmakers have introduced bipartisan legislation seeking sanctions against foreigners and governments accused of facilitating the recruitment of Africans to fight for Russia in its war with Ukraine. Citing Ukrainian intelligence, the bill says that at least 1,400 citizens from 36 African countries, including Kenya, are fighting alongside Russian forces. So the sanctions will be about visa bans, blockage of property, trade blockade, American loans freeze, and economic blockade, as well as procurement ban. That is what I have here. Gentlemen, let's come back to it. Starting with you, Mheshimiwa.
Yes, please.
You have been in the constituency, and what are people saying down there? I mean, what are Kenyans saying? I mean, it's here. The strike is here. So let's talk about the feeling around politics. And there's a lot of defense from the government supporters. There's a lot of dissident from the dissident attack from the opposition. And now we have got civil unrest from the players itself.
The opportunists will always use this chance to try and speak out against the government. It is common knowledge to all of us Kenyans. Just as we know the history, you remember even in the time of Uhuru Kenyatta, there's a time that during the Jubilee government, Uhuru Kenyatta even was captured saying that, do I control the global issues that happens outside our scope? Because most of these things are imported. We do not have them here in our country. Probably that is the reason why we are keen at trying to explore if we have oil within our country, things that are within our control. But as it stands right now, Victor, you and I know the issue of the global prices is as a result, and most of us Kenyans know, is as a result of the external shocks, issues outside our reach. Those are the wars that happen between the countries, you know, whether you're talking about the Iran, US, and Israel wars, in the Strait of Hormuz. You know very well that because of the issues of insecurity around that stretch where most of the ships that carry the oil pass through, the issue of insurance and the ships have gone way too high. They have had to change the routes, which means that then the cost has literally gone up, amongst other issues.
Yes.
It is not isolated to Kenya. Sometimes when you're doing this comparison, and this is also available for all Kenyans to be able to see even online, when you look at it on average, in Africa, for instance, Africa average is at 1.53. Kenya, we are at $1.44. That is per diesel, per barrel. So it tells you that, no, per liter, sorry. So it tells you, in as far as Kenya, it is affecting us, it's also affecting the whole of Africa. Yesterday, I was with a friend of mine from Malawi, and he was telling me Malawi is actually doing a liter at 589 shillings, equivalent Kenya shillings. So it tells you it's even worse off. So this issue that you're going through as a country, I want to thank the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto. At the initial time when he realized that there is this problem that has happened, immediately he asked us Parliament to be able to slash the VAT, and we introduced an amendment. All of us members of Parliament came into the floor of the House, and we amended the law to adjust the VAT from 16% to 8%. What does this tell you? This is a very sensitive government. And a few minutes ago, I had you reading some newspaper that is known to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, that newspaper is always hell-bent in speaking anything negative and trying to say that the leadership is burying their heads in the sand. No, we are here. We are Kenyans. We are taking this thing head on. If there is any other idea, all that you can just hear is bury the head, but they don't give us what are some of the suggestions I'm talking about that can be done. It is all plain. You know, there are legacy debts, loans that were taken, for instance, in the past, that also have commitments that have been placed in some of these things, in some of the costings in our fuel. We have roads that we need to maintain, Victor. It cannot be that, like now we have the road maintenance. I have roads that it's now rainy in the places where I come from, Victor. We are the source of the agricultural foods that feed this country. It's a fact. If those roads are not made because of the fact that probably now we are not getting nothing from the fuel, then we have a big problem, another, complementary problems happening across the country. So Kenyans, I would like to reach out to all of you and tell you, as leadership, as part of those you are in leadership, let me tell you, we are all cracking our heads. What else can be done so that this can be, that can be further averted?
You talked about opportunists taking advantage of the situation to politicize, and that is politics.
Correct.
Perhaps you also play in the same league with them, Would I say that you're also taking opportunity to play politics with this?
No. We are trying to create a solution. The opportunists are just trying to meander and say, let's go on a strike. Let's come and have a conversation. This is a government in Kenya. This is the only government that listens and reacts almost immediately. If, as always, the President William Ruto has said, if you have a better idea, please share with me. I see how best we can do. But the facts are clearly on the table.
Yeah.
And today, Victor, if this war that is happening between U.S., Iran, and Israel, if it subsides completely, then we would expect that the prices will certainly come low. It's that simple. But you say, trying to say, cut the prices of the businessmen who are selling fuel. You know, this is, they have to also make a margin. So we're in a very tight spot. Probably there's 1 or 2 commitments that have also been made in terms of the monies that, in terms of the global commitments to international lenders, in terms of the part of the small margin that is there. So it's a balance that has to be made.
Yes.
So these are the things that we are wrecking our heads about. But generally, Victor, I want to tell every Kenyan, we are so conscious, even myself, it is not easy. I'm also a business person. It is not easy. We had to discussing some, you are having a discussion this morning. What do we do? So it's affecting all of us Kenyans. But all of us Kenyans, let's come together and share what do we need to do. But we do not need to go on that statement you mentioned.
Last month when this happened, the government was quick. Within 24 hours, it was slashed. And then now, this is not happening. Days later. Why so? You'll answer that. But, Prof, look at it this way. There is this one person who is perhaps not understanding Wajiko. Wajiko is asking herself, then what is the government doing? Because the government, the fuel subsidy which used to be there during the Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, you remember that, it was also politicized, as Mheshimiwa would say, and it was not sustainable, as others would also say. But Wanjiko is asking herself, in whose hands is she safe?
No, thank you very much, Victor. I identify myself with the, sentiments by Mheshimiwa Kitur. I think it's important for all of us to understand where this is coming from. One, fuel prices have gone up globally in all the countries. In fact, if you go again online, because we are connected, the US is complaining. US citizens are complaining that prices have gone up by almost 50% for diesel and for petrol. And if this is happening in the US, which is one of the largest producer of oil in the world, then it tells you that many of our countries here in the continent are suffering. Number two, it's about what you mentioned, about what is happening in other countries in the continent. Of course, the president did say the other day that we shouldn't be comparing ourselves just with these small countries here. But in Malawi, for example, as he has just shared, in Africa, I think that is a country that is facing the biggest challenge around fuel. Because it's more than double what we are charging in Kenya. And Malawi is a very small country in size, economy-wise, and also in quality of life. So you can imagine what the Malawians are going through, and many other countries, including Tanzania here. It is happening across. And so I don't think we should be blaming the government of William Ruto on everything that happens. I usually tell people that even when it fails to rain, it is William Ruto. Even when people are fighting out there in other countries, it's William Ruto. But let me say this. One, we don't produce our own oil. So when there is a cut in supply, and which exactly is happening globally, because of the war between the US and Russia, US and Iran, Israel, and of course what is happening between Russia and the Ukraine.
Yes.
This has seriously affected the supply of petroleum. And when supply of course goes down, we have this high demand, then prices certainly will go up. Until the Strait of Hormuz is opened, and until the conflict subsides, then we are still going to see the same problem of high prices. And when we see the way prices of fuel in Kenya are set, I think we also need to understand that it doesn't just come out from anywhere. We are a government, and the government has systems and procedures and processes that must be followed. EPRA is in charge of setting the prices, and they have a formula. If the price goes up, of these petroleum products from outside the country, certainly that equation, the parameters are affected. And at the end, if Y is equals to A, X plus B, X2 plus C, then if one of the parameters goes up, certainly Y the price of all the products down here goes up. So what I would say is that instead of politicking and taking advantage of a problem that is global, that is affecting all of us, it is important for all of us to sit down as Kenyans and propose or come up with solutions. We've seen people coming up with press conferences. And some of these things are obvious and common sense. You know, when you see a member of parliament coming out there just to issue a statement, just because he's seen an opportunity to stand out there and show Kenyans that he knows. No, I would just tell that member of parliament that whatever is happening is common sense. You know, don't tell us those things because you already know them. What I'll tell you is that instead of telling us what we know, that we have a problem because of what is happening between Iran and the US, please tell us that because of this is happening, this is the solution that I'm proposing as a leader.
Which is very true, Prof. And to that effect, Mheshimiwa, your colleague Ndini Nyoro also wrote a letter to Parliament to have how do you call it? Special sitting. Exactly. To address this issue. But Prof, much as that is happening, the question of to abolish or reduce VAT on fuel is perhaps one of the remedies that you're asking about.
But you know, Victor, if you go back to 2022, the cost of fuel was more than 230 shillings back in 2022. And we knew where this one came from.
Thank you.
Because we just come out of COVID-19. And we imagine we had all these subsidies, yet still we pay 230. You know, today, the president has abolished all these subsidies. The price of fuel has gone down since when he took over as the president of this country. I think for me, it is important for Kenya to appreciate that he has made deliberate, actions in making sure that he brings the cost of fuel down so that the cost of living goes down. And we've seen that happen over the last 3 years. Now this one, please let Kenyans know that it is not about, President William Ruto or the politicians or, other unseen factors. We know exactly what is happening. And we need to appreciate that we are connected to the global economy. If something happens in Japan or the US, it is definitely going to affect us here in Kenya.
Okay.
And as we move forward, because of course we're also looking for our own sources of fuel locally, we should also start thinking about alternative sources of energy, so that if this country is fighting with this country, we are not affected. If we can harvest, solar energy, go to EVs, electric vehicles, start using all these sources of energy for our benefit, then certainly, if there's a sort of issues out there, challenges out there, then that may not affect the cost of living in this country.
Mheshimiwa, you can come in for that, because I'm really, and today you'll excuse, I'll play devil's advocate as much as I can. That issue of reducing the VAT on fuel levy, is it even possible? Can you anchor it in law?
First of all, before I answer your question, I want to thank Prof. I think it's good sometimes to have brilliant fellows and who have great memory. One of the biggest problems we have in our country is the ease of loss of memory almost instantly. And we always discuss the issues of the now, but when you have professors around us, sometimes it gives us, they keep track of, because they dispense knowledge all the time and they keep doing a lot of study. He has been able to really say something, I think, so profound, that one of the things that happened when President William Ruto took over leadership of our country was to remove the subsidies all across, only subsidizing anything that is directed on production. And one of the things that he did was literally in agriculture, and that is well known to all Kenyans, subsidizing fertilizer only. But all the other items, he removed the subsidies, which was brilliant. And the reason why President William Ruto says, in leadership and in Kenya, we will use brains. Anybody who just wants to come and sit around, but you must use and record brains. And actually, truthfully, let's be factual, Victor.
Yes.
When we go back there, the price of fuel was pretty too high.
Correct.
All right? But because also, as he said, we don't work as an isolated country. It is a global issue. Because of the good factors that happen out there, and including also the proper economics that was put in place, we have been able to bring our prices down. Besides, at that time, the fellow you talked about, Ndini Nyoro,
yes,
my friend, who is playing to the gallery.
Correct.
That is the one calling for a special sitting. Who is he?
He's a member of parliament representing.
You can't do that. They know what to do. You cannot.
Correct.
You cannot call for a special sitting. There is nowhere in the standing order that you can do something like that. That is just playing to the gallery. In fact, he's even warned you. He's winning you among as many other populace who don't know how the things in parliament operate. You can't. That is just playing to the gallery to look like he's somebody. He was the one who was actually pushing when he was the chair of budget. Right? When you're the chairman of budget, I'm a chairman of the Constitutional Implementation and Oversight Committee. When you have the power, but you can only do that by requesting the leader of majority or minority or the speaker.
Correct.
Right? You cannot think that you can come now to the public gallery and say, I demand this to happen. That can't work. He's just playing to the gallery because he knows Kenyans right now are concerned about the issue of fuel. So just to be seen that he's an intelligent guy trying to, do one, two. He is the one who was really pushing and saying, let's level let's create, let's standardize at 16%.
Yeah.
And we reduced that from 18% where Tanzania was, and all other regional African countries were, but let's maintain it at 16%. He was the one who pushed it up there, right? President William Ruto did something unprecedented recently when the prices spiked up. Why? Because he still wants to sustain the economy, our country to be stable. He did something that was, again, I mean, it is us who had said, let's push this standardize at 16%. He brought it to 8%. So that, in my view, is unprecedented.
Why not now? Why not now? I haven't asked that. Why not now?
Don't forget, I have told you, Victor, that the money that we get from some of these fuels is what we use to maintain our village roads through the RMLF, Road Maintenance Levy Fund. So if the roads in my village will not be made, then it will have a complete serious ripple effect. I am the one who supplies, tea in this country. My constituency is 70% tea farms. I will not be able to transport those tea. I will not be able to even fetch those tea and take them to factories. The ripple effect is going to be serious. So we need to be able to balance. It's not just a thing that you wake up today, Victor, and say just adjust this. You have to also look at what happens in the economy. What are the other ripple effects that it's going to have? All right? But the unprecedented move of reducing it from 16% to 8% is extremely significant. Correct. Secondly, there was the release of 5 billion shillings to be able also to support the diesel and kerosene, specifically because diesel it runs the factories, runs most of the big vehicles, I mean, as it were. And when you looked at the global prices, actually, diesel was the one which was also hard hit. And also that is the unprecedented move that the president also did by going on to that aspect of subsidy. And also kerosene. Why? Because kerosene many times are used in our households for those places that don't have electricity. And I want to also thank Prof for also reminding us on the aggression from President William Ruto that we go green. The way he has actually been driving, that we have solars. Can you imagine all schools are going to have solars? What is the net effect? That then we are going to have powered vehicles, also electric vehicles along our roads, so that such issues like what is happening right now may not be able to happen. You remember President William Ruto one day drove by himself from State House to town, driving an EV vehicle, electric motor vehicle, to try and rally Kenyans and all business people and the community that, look here, guys, probably he didn't even know that this was the crisis like this is going to happen. But I also appreciate there are so many vehicles right now on the road that are not using fossil fuel. So the whole point is the government, in my view, is at its best. And I want to tell you also, this is a conversation that we are all having. What we need to do is give us some of the proposals. Some of the proposals I had from my friend Dindi Nyoro was cut out the margins of the businessmen. Now, he told you there's a formula that is worked out, okay? This is not, you cannot wake up one day and kill the entire sector because they have also overheads. You need to also listen to them and say, if it's 9 shillings, how much is their margins when they have paid the salaries, the rental ground, all those, the logistics, so that we can see if we can go slice it. So those are good ideas, but you see, you cannot wake up one day and say, slash it, you are just playing to the gallery.
Much as you're also asking them to give you solutions, what solutions do you have? That's the question I want to ask you. Prof, the other question was to roll back the road maintenance levy, the 7 shillings per litre. Is it so hard to do so? And if it's done, what's the effect?
We don't want to come out as if we're defending. We are not coming in as defensive.
I want us to communicate clearly to
we want to be first very honest with Kenyans that the government is doing its best to make sure that the cost of living does not go back to where it was in 2020, 2021. Number two, what Mheshimiwa Kitura said here is important to note. The road maintenance levy is what you use in Kenya to maintain our roads.
Yes.
I saw, I've seen people getting too smart and too intelligent just because they're playing politics, saying that, we should cut this one down. But I remember a few days ago, the president saying that, we have almost 25,000 kilometers of roads to maintain in this country.
Yes.
If you put that into perspective, Tanzania has around 7,000 kilometers. Uganda has 6,000. Rwanda has, I think, 2,000, So as an economy in East Africa, the number of kilometers that we must maintain is equivalent to the total, number of kilometers that the other East African countries must maintain. Number three is that today, if you stop maintaining roads in Kenya, every Kenyan is going to make noise. We are going to complain that the government is doing nothing. And so, if you take the road maintenance levy out, then, Nairobi Gituri is going to have problems in Nandi.
Absolutely.
Because, everybody is waiting now that rains have subsided. Where is that money that we have given you to maintain our roads? And so, that is not an option. And let us agree that if you take that direction, then Kenya will not be able to move forward as an economy. And everybody is also watching us. But also, let us go back to what we have agreed, that this is not our problem. Every other country in the world is complaining about the cost of fuel, from the most advanced economies back to those at the lowest level. And if we can appreciate that, and as I said, even US citizens are making noise out there, saying that no, it is too costly, because the costs have gone up to around 50% up over the last 3 months. What we should be looking at now is saying that, because at some point, this war is going to end in a few weeks, and once that happens, and the price does not go down, let us come here and tell President William Ruto, you are letting Kenyans down. But for now, the president has done well over the last several weeks in making sure that we get to our... And finally, before we get to that break, Victor, you've been asking why the government is quiet. The government is not quiet. You see, there's also a level that you cannot go below. Because if we went from 16% to 13% to 8%, that was immediate, because there was that provision that we could go down to. But we also we should understand that we have a country to run. If we sit down and say that, okay, let us just stop everything, let us get fuel for free, and let us give it to Kenyans, then the economy is going to come to a standstill, and again, we'll go back to the streets to complain about the president. That is not working for Kenya.
I want to ask you a question, Mheshimiwa, when you come back. Is it possible to have a legislative amendment to classify fuel as supply exempt or exempt supply? Is it possible? If so, how will it affect the economy? I want to take a look at that when you come back, and much more. You're telling me that if you do that, then you'll not supply us with tea. I will serve you tea here right now. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us.
I'm not doing it. Huh? What'd you say? I don't want to take the exam. But you haven't taken it. How'd you know you won't pass it?
Keep me company. Sit yourself down. How about you bring me some of your soup?
Sure.
When do you get off? Let's have dinner together.
You're thinking I know everything. I'm the one who should be grateful.
I know he's not the type to mess me around. He's just slow, really. Plus, he's stubborn.
They say magic is a myth, but they haven't been looking in the right places. From the heartbeat of the city to the soul of our culture. Taste the magic in every bite, from authentic flavors to unforgettable experiences. Journey into the wild, where nature holds secrets older than time. Discover places you've never imagined, hidden wonders waiting to be found. This is not just travel. This is not just culture. This is magical scenes. See Kenya. Feel the magic.
And welcome back. Okay, so is it Strait of Hormuz? Is it high fuel prices? Is it taxes? Is it fuel levy? Mheshimiwa says that if that is done, he will not transport tea from Nandi Hills to Nairobi. We will still get that tea, Mheshimiwa. You just have to do it. Let's come back to it. The question that I want to ask the two of you gentlemen is because Wanjiku is yearning to get that proper communication, that proper word from somebody to tell them that, you know what, this is what's happening. My kinsman back in the village doesn't understand what Strait of Hormuz is all about. You and I cannot really understand, but does that person back in the village really understand what Strait of Hormuz is all about? Let's talk about communication. When we have such a sensitive national issue being politicized, does it really worry you, Mheshimiwa?
Yes, it does. It does because I have read, you just read a few minutes ago, some newspapers like the one that you read, one of them, who keeps all the time putting headlines that head in the sand. What kind of headlines is that? It's just being overly negative and to depict as if we are all just sitting pretty when the country is going through such a difficult moment like this. I take all of you back and all Kenyans watching me, and I said that the initial one, when it so happened that the prices spiked, the president was very quick. And even as we speak, guys are cracking their heads.
Correct.
What else can we do? We love our country. President William Ruto, I can tell you today, Victor, it's only that he cannot be able to depict there. He doesn't sleep. He works so hard for this country. He really wants the best for this land.
It seems to know what he's about to do. What is he doing?
Well, no, I will tell you that we did an unprecedented move to reduce the VAT,
yes,
and equally roped in the subsidy, which was to stabilize the issue of diesel and kerosene, as I informed you, of about 5 billion. And here we are. What I was talking about is to discount the notion or the thoughts that we are doing nothing. And as Prof earlier said, this is a global phenomena. It is happening across. In other African countries, it is worse. We are better as a country, but we still need to do something about it. That is all what we are wrecking our brains about. We have an institution, I can tell you, IPRA right now, the pressure that is on them, correct, the Minister of Energy, the pressure that is on them, the Minister himself, the Cabinet Secretary Wandai, I can tell you that guy is not sleeping because he has to wreck his head and say, what do we do to bring down this cost? And we do not want strikes. Anytime we go on a strike, Victor, it brings in issues of insecurity. It brings in a wasted time, human time, the labor that we could have used to be able to make our country better. We know the cost of going into the streets, the wastage of time. This is not what, and I would encourage Kenyans, let's not go on the streets. Please come on the table. If you have organized institutions, I saw there's the transport, the Matatu operators, please, all of you come. Let's go meet one day. Let's meet with the Minister of Transport. Let us sit down. Going into the streets is not a solution. But if you have to make an appointment, and I want to appreciate, first of all, the ministers that we have right now, the cabinet secretaries, under the directive of President William Ruto, we run an open door policy. You can say we want to come and talk to you. Let's have a boardroom discussions. Going into the streets will not solve the problem that we're having as a country. And therefore, I wanted to encourage, and I also tell Kenyans that we are extremely sensitive. Even myself, we are also looking, and there's a serious conversation even going on amongst the various online platforms of members of parliament, the leaders of our country, all of them. We are all having discussions to look what other can we be able to do. Finally, you mentioned that is it possible to adjust sometimes, the percentiles of the VAT and all of this? It is possible because it's the floor of the house that is done. But as Prof earlier said, we have to also put into considerations other factors. You cannot just be able to say, slash this to 0%, put it nothing. Then what happens to our roads?
Correct.
All right? Does it mean that we don't make our roads? Yes. And many other factors. Do we say that let's bring in the margins that the operators or those who are running petrol stations, do we bring it to 5 shillings, 3 shillings? So do we close those petrol stations?
I know you don't speak for Mheshimiwa Opiyo Wandayi, but a few days ago, he said that the government has got 5 billion shillings to cushion Kenyans against the high fuel price that we are doing right now. That is going to run from May to June. Why is that 5 billion, and why is it not being used?
No, the 5 billion has already been expended. It's actually being expended right now.
Then why
that is why I talked about.
Why are the Matatus are on strike? Because they're not seeing the result of that 5 billion shillings as subsidy.
let me tell you, the price of diesel and kerosene would even be much higher.
Correct.
I can't give you the absolute figure right now, but it would be worse off. That money is actually being expended.
The whole essence is for Wanjiku to see that fuel prices coming down from where it is right now, 242, to a certain figure, probably 230, whichever figure that the government will work on with the 5 billion shillings that is in store.
Victor Olo, the price would even be much higher. Let me ask you, if the 8% was still, if you are at 16%, what price would it be right now?
Who communicated that change?
Thank you. No, that's what I'm telling you. We passed it in Parliament, that let's reduce the VAT, right?
Yes.
So if that VAT, if I did not slash it from 16% to 8%, and we are talking at 242, what price would it be right now? It would be way higher, isn't it? The same thing with the subsidy. The subsidy has been factored in, and I've mentioned, into specific products. That is kerosene, because it's used by every local mwananchi. And diesel, why? Diesel is the one that runs most of the factories, most of the heavy machinery, so that we can be able to manage the manufacturing space. Okay? So these are some of the things that, the interventions that have already been done. And I would also want to encourage you, Victor, though you had said you want to play as a devil's advocate, that also be a bit factual, so that when we are also engaging Kenyans, Kenyans also must know that there is something proactive being done. Correct. It is not that we are sitting pretty. When CS Wandai spoke, it is obvious it's not a one-man show. It is also, you know, it trickles down to us, because we are the representatives of the people. If the people I represent are suffering, I am also suffering. Yeah, and I told you I'm a businessman. Even this morning, we had to make some very serious discussions on the business that we are all running. So it's affecting everybody.
Okay. Prof, and I want you to also explain to me the aspect of G2G. We had several leaders, even some of the experts saying that the G2G agreement, the import strategy has failed politically speaking. So explain for us how this G2G is all about and why the noise and so hard hitting about it.
Victor, I think it's important to all of us agree on one thing, that we all want the cost of fuel to come down, all of us. And this is the cross. It's not about the opposition, or about the government, or about friends or enemies. It's more about everyone wanting the cost of living to go down. And if the price of fuel goes up, then certainly we are going to have that challenge. Let me just go back before I address that G2G question. Just go back to the figures that we're talking about.
Yes.
We did just mention that the cost of fuel in Malawi is more than 500 shillings.
589.
Yeah, 589 shillings.
Yes.
What we are paying here, we are talking about 214 shillings. Malawi is paying almost 600 shillings. Here in Kigali, Rwanda, and I'm just looking at standard, which is always very negative about the government. They've even put it very clearly that, it's 259 shillings per liter. Whatever is retailing at 214 in Nairobi is 259 in Kigali. And I'm looking at this. It is important to note that this is the standard. It is not any other. If it was something else, then I know Kenyans would be questioned. But if standard says that, then it tells you that this is not our problem. This is a problem that cuts across. And I think, and I agree, Honorable Kituru, we need to sit down. Instead of the Matatu Association and all these people going on strike, what they should have asked for is a sitting. So we all sit together and look at the facts on the table and ask ourselves, which headroom do we have to play around to bring the cost of fuel down? And that space is available because the cabinet of Kenya today is a cabinet of the people. Wandai is there waiting to have this conversation. The parliament is here. They are looking forward to having this conversation. And as I said, they're already looking at all the possibilities out there as members of parliament. The cabinet is doing the same thing because whatever affects the fuel in Kenya affects all the other sectors of development.
Yes.
And so everybody's asking, so what do we do? So instead of going out there to tell Kenyans that, the government is failing, I think the point would be, how can we have this boardroom meeting? Let us sit down. Let us look at the facts. Let us see where the problem is. Let us sort of ask ourselves, what kind of solutions can we put on the table? But the most important thing to me is that we must tell Kenyans the truth. Because I don't like when a leader who was in government and said something different when he was there in 2022, 2023, and when he goes out of government, he starts questioning the same policies that him as a leader did lead in passing those policies. When you talk about the G2G, everybody's saying that people are doing business. No, it is not. That is not the case. why we have seen the price of fuel go down from 22 is because of that framework.
Correct.
That was crafted by experts, not the politicians or the president of Kenya. It was crafted by the experts, it was presented to the president, and it was brought to parliament.
Yes.
You know, for them to see and agree that it puts the interests of Kenyans at heart. Why it is important not to look into that is because when you go to the UAE, where we have most of our fuel, or Saudi Arabia, where we have all our fuel coming from, before we were affected by the supply shocks. We were also affected by the exchange rates, the forex. Now that G2G stabilized these shocks that were affecting the cost of our fuel here in Kenya. Now whatever is happening now is beyond those shocks. The shock of the conflict between Israel, Iran, and the US is not about Kenya. It is affecting, it's a shock that is affecting the fuel industry globally. And if we agree into this, now I look into what Japan said the other day. I saw the Prime Minister of Japan talking and saying that, no, our fuel has gone up by 27%.
Wow.
That is Japan.
Yes.
And Japan is not just any other economy. So now they were trying to negotiate with Iran to give them a bit of space so that they can get more of the fuel to Iran, to Japan, so that 27% could go down to 18%.
Okay.
Now, that is, I'm saying this because, you see, they know if there is a challenge with the supply, certainly, given the demand that we have for fuel, globally, the prices will, of course, go up. And that is what the initial stage, between the end of February and the end of March, many of the countries were trying to negotiate, have this bilateral engagement with Iran to allow their ships to transport petroleum products to their countries. But finally, even before we come in, now, the conflict became so complicated. It became so complex that now you didn't have anyone to talk to. You see, the US saying that, we don't even know who to talk to in Iran. Israel is there confused, that they don't know who to negotiate with, so that at least the Strait of Hormuz can open to ease the cost of fuel products across board.
You know what, gentlemen? I like the way you're putting it. Sounds academic. But who is communicating this in simple terms to Wanjiku? Because Mheshimiwa Kituru will go to the constituency or will go to Parliament Media Center and give us a statement that does not give, I still call them, Wanjiku does not really understand. But the point is, who is communicating these facts clearly to the Kenyans to understand? Because as you said, Kenyans are brilliant people. They are able to pick. But the only thing that is missing is that clear communication, A, B, C, D. Guys, let's keep it cool.
Victor, even right now you're communicating, right? Right now, the passage, if there's a government spokesman, he often issues statements.
Correct.
But who synthesizes and listens to it? It is you, the media, whom we depend to project.
I should be given that role today.
You, the media, are the ones who project it out there. And the reason why have you called us here today? To be able to synthesize, to have this, in small bits and pieces, so that our viewers can listen. And also, they are also intelligent, and they have access to these phones, Victor. All the information is here these days. You do not need, you just need to go to WhatsApp and ask what's going on, and it explains to you. That is, of course, for the for the persons who understand. But generally, we all know there is a war going on, that this is external. Every Kenyan knows. It's only also the aspect of opportunists, politicians who want to politicize everything and to try and use this as a chance to try and paint the government in the negative light. You see? And that is what now the voice that what you're talking about is confusing the environment. But I want to tell you, the communication is out there. It depends whether you want to listen or not.
Okay. Has the government depleted the stabilization fund?
I can't confirm that right now. I need to get the facts about the same. But what I do know is there was the release of the 5 billion. So I can't tell how much is still in the balance. But it's something, it's open. I think I should have known that that would be required. I would have gotten that information.
Okay. So what if, I asked that question, what if there is that legislative bit of it, amendment, to have fuel as exempted supply?
Victor, that is a very good idea. Those are the proposals we are looking for. But as I said, we need to also look at what happens on the other side of the coin. Okay? So this is a conversation that we need to also hear from the economists and everybody else. What happens? We said we are not isolated. And secondly, there's a lot of commitment that had been done even prior to our coming into government.
Correct.
by the other government for part of the loans that are used to make some of the roads that goes to many times the central Kenya and other, many times that region. Most of the roads that were in that place, most of it had been securitized. Therefore, there is more than meets the eye behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So it's a good proposal you've given. It has to be subject now to a conversation of all of us. That's what we were talking about earlier with him. And I even wanted to add something that Prof may not even have picked it well. That even President William Ruto, by the way, is very available. If today you, as an organization, you say you want to go and have a discussion, you even feel that you may not want to have a discussion with the cabinet secretary, trust you me, you can just write a letter and you get an appointment straight to State House.
Correct.
And have a discussion one-on-one with William Ruto. It is that easy and simple. I can tell you, State House is very open for every Kenyan. Victor, you seem not to believe because you have a mentality of what has been happening in the past. This is a different regime of government that is very open to all of us to be able to have. If you have a serious conversation that you want to have and you have a proposal, you've given a proposal, it will be subject to the discussion. But as you say, let's look at the other factors. The reason why we had to craft this 8% is because it was within the elastic limit that something could be done. It could be engineered. Even the pulling in of the 5 billion. And as I told you, even right now, good idea you've given. Many other people will also give the ideas. We'll have put a discussion over the same, and then we see. It comes to the floor of the House. In the floor of the House also, people have different ideas. We canvass, and then finally we vote.
Okay. Then, Prof, another thing is that, is it not so hard to consolidate the minor levies? The railway maintenance levy, development levy, we have got anti-adulteration levy and merchant shipping levy. Can they be consolidated?
This is part of the law. We have a framework that did not start yesterday or with William Ruto.
Yeah.
It started a long time ago. We've always had these levies for the longest time possible. And it is not something new when somebody wakes up in the morning and says that we have too many of these taxes. No, these have always been there. And it's important to understand why we need them. We talked about the road maintenance levy, that without it, these members of parliament won't be able to go home. Because, if the roads are bad, the guys down there, our voters, the citizen, is going to say, no, you'll not come home until the road is made. The same thing with the railways. We have a railways system, infrastructure, that we must maintain over the years.
9 taxes.
No, you see,
9 of them.
You talk about taxes, but at the end of the day, a country is run by taxes. I am not saying that we should be taxed, beyond our means. But certainly, if you go to the best of the countries globally, they pay taxes.
Correct.
And that is why they're first world. That's why we go there to beg. We should not be where we are today. And that's why, during our meeting with the president last week on Thursday, we are comparing ourselves with the Koreans, because the Korean speaker was in town. And we were saying that, no, in 1971, we're just like you guys. What happened? It is because they financed their development. And that is one thing that we must do. We must finance our development. Let me just say something else. When you talk about supply exempt, you see, again, it boils down to taxes. Maybe this is not our forte, because it has to go back to the ministry, the National Treasury. But let me say one thing. Even when the parliament cut down the VAT from 13 or from 16 to 8%, the IMF complained. They said, no, you cannot cut this on this level because it is going to affect your national pass. The basket that we need to develop this country. And because of those commitments that we made globally, which were not made by William Ruto, they were there even before he came in as the president of this country. There is a level that we cannot go beyond. Because if we go beyond that, we'll not be able to honor our commitments, to our partners or to the donor agencies that we work with. And so as we talk about the taxes, I think the key to me is what Honorable Kitura said. Let us sit down. Every proposal is a proposal and should be scrutinized. We should have a discussion and ask ourselves, if we take this proposal by Victor, where he says that let us focus on supply exempt, where are we going to be as Kenya in the next 3 months? If we cut down all these 9 levies that we're talking about, the question would be, okay, so what would our people see on the ground, in the coming months? But finally, what you're looking at is, you see, you're talking about the 5 billion shillings subsidy, which did not come in yesterday. It came in, last month, when of course, prices went up so quickly. And as I said, that is a formula that is set by the law, that if the cost of fuel in UAE or in Saudi Arabia goes up, before it gets to Mombasa, then that formula is applied. And, if it goes up, the total cost of fuel in Kenya goes up. Now, that subsidy has addressed the last 1 month of the price shift that we've seen. Now, the shifting is still going up, but it's still happening. Why? Because we have not sorted out the Strait of Hormuz problem. The prayer that we should be sort of praying as Kenyans is that we hope very soon that the US and Iran are going to have an agreement so that we close this, so that all of us now we can start asking questions why the price is not going down, yet the war is going. I saw some politicians, the guys on the other side saying that, oh, but the war is the US and Iran are not fighting anymore. I mean, open your phone, Google, ask yourself where we are with this war. You'll see Trump saying, yes, the other day when he was traveling from China, saying that, Iran has refused, to agree to the terms, and so they are still fighting. And so the Strait of Hormuz is still blocked by the US, and Iran is still bombing any ship that goes through. So there is no supply through the Strait of Hormuz.
It's quite interesting. Mheshimiwa, you talked about the issue to do with marketing, cutting some of the marketer and distributor margins. Is it possible?
That's exactly a proposal that one guy gave, and he was saying slash it by 4 shillings. Ridiculous fellow who is my colleague in Parliament, who looked like extremely intelligent earlier before, but right now when he continues to express himself as
correct,
I'm a businessman. How do you do that? That's what I'm saying. It's a conversation we need to have. Okay, we need to see what are the offers. So that of course is also infringing onto a business community.
Correct.
We are in a rock and a hard place. Do you want to close all the petrol stations? If they close down, what happens? Will you be having outlets? So those are the conversations that is there. So in my view, it's one of the most impossible one to be able to be effected. Generally, I still say we have a government right now, Victor, that listens to everyone. From President William Ruto, I can tell you, and I want Kenyans to know, this is the most accessible president, an intelligent president, and he's always willing to listen to ideas. All these people who are going on strike, please come on the table. It is very easy. Any member of anybody, as I said, if you do a letter today to the office of the president, you will have access to see the president.
This is your camera.
Yes, please.
I assume you are talking to a Class 8 student who did not go to school today. Just tell him or her what is really happening in simple terms.
Okay, what is happening, Kenyans, is there is a war that happened between Iran and Israel, backed up by the United States of America. And there's a place called Strait of Hormuz. It's on the ocean, where it's a sea. It's a place where ships pass across. And that place, large of it is controlled by Iran. And because of this war, the U.S. had created a blockade because of, they gave, their own thoughts that as the ship passed through that Strait of Hormuz, and also most of the oil also comes from Iran, Iranians were making money, or the regime that was there was collecting taxes, collecting money that runs their governments from this Strait of Hormuz. And so the Americans have created a blockade where they say no ship should go through here, or if they go through it, it has to be sanctioned by them. On the other side, Iran says if there's a ship that passes there without their approval, it is bombed. What has this done? It has created the ships to go through the farthest route, which makes it extremely expensive to transport oil from the Arab countries. And secondly, insurance of those of the fuel. Because when a ship comes, and I want to tell Kenyans, a ship is a very big thing. It carries millions and millions and millions of barrels of liters of diesel and petrol. So it has made the price to go very high. But if tomorrow this fight between US and Israel and Iran comes down or subsides completely, then expect a serious drop in the prices to the normal where we are supposed to be. But I have also one message also, because I can see time is gone. This weekend was one of those that I felt very bad as a leader of this nation. When I saw the level in which politics is taking, there is a lady by the name Rachel Wandeto, who was doused with petrol in Mwiki Kasarani. And as leaders in parliament, as leaders of this country, first of all, we stand with Rachel Wandeto. Most of us will be going this week. You'll see members of parliament going to see her in KNH. We are well informed of the very good treatment being given to her. But I want to call upon all the young people and all the leaders and all the politicians, all the young people, even as we head towards election, please, if a lady decides to tattoo, because he loves, the same way I love William Ruto, policies and ideas and the way he runs this country, the other politicians do not weaponize or poison young people to think that when you pour petrol, when you kill someone for politics, it's a success in any way.
Yes.
Those young people who did that, the time you will go into cells for 30, 40, 50 years or life, because even that is actually life sentence they will get, it will not be worth it,
is,
young people.
It's actually political intolerance.
Political intolerance.
Murkomen and police IG.
Yeah, and I thank Murkomen, IG, and several members of parliament and leaders of this nation who have gone to see that lady.
Correct.
I want to ask all the young people, let us tolerate each other. That was very important for me, Victor. In fact, I should have started that because it really touches us, and as a country, we want a very...
Prof, there's some photos I wanted to see here. On 14th of last week, that was last week.
Last week, yeah.
Last week. It was a very big day for you, and we've never seen you. Director, perhaps you can have those photos. The Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology in Konza was officially given a charter.
Correct.
So, by President William Ruto himself. Director, do we have these photos? Okay. Yeah, they're coming up shortly. But you can just tell us what really... All right, we can have the photos. The charter, it happened. But just explain to us as you are doing that. Now, does this really mean for KAIST?
No, thank you. Thank you for bringing this up. And I think it's also linked to fuel. When I talked about being more innovative, using technologies to move our energy sort of...
Yeah, there we have it.
We are focus. Next level. Let me say the following. One, with this, the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology.
That is you.
That's
why didn't you wear like that coming to the show?
maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Next time. You know, we were very excited.
That's the photos.
Oh yeah. That's where we are with the president, and this has been a dream come true, which was actually started. It is part of Vision 2030, but it has been driven by the President of Kenya. He started, actually raising resources when he was the Deputy President of this country. He's the one who negotiated with the Koreans for the initial $100 million to support the infrastructure development and equipping of the facilities.
Yeah.
President Ruto has been very keen in advancing quality education in this country. And in our last meeting, prior to this, he told me one thing. He said, a country can only develop to the level that they can think. If we are to compete with the best of the best in the world, then the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, which is now a fully fledged university, is now mandated to drive Kenya's development to the next level. Our focus is on science, technology, innovation, and engineering, which in this case will focus more on driving Kenya's industrial-based growth and Kenya's modernization. Why is this important? It's because all the countries that are up there in the first world sort of league, all of these are being driven by the fourth, fifth industrial revolution. Around digital tech product, digital solutions, and so on and so forth. And for Kenya to get to that level, we must now start our own journey of producing our own digital tech solutions, tech products, so that we can feed into our economy, but also feed into the regional economy. And Kenya being that country, that has played a leading role in ensuring
My director
that
is asking
we are up there.
how important is it going to be, how different is it going to be from other universities around?
This is a specialized university. What we mean by a specialized university is that there are few universities in Kenya that are of national importance. Generally, they're identified as universities that would focus on specific areas. Now, ours is a postgraduate degree only university that will focus on science, technology, innovation, and engineering.
Thank you.
We are not going to focus on social sciences. We're not going to focus on Christian and all those other things out there. Subjects. Ours is just to focus on this specific ecosystem around science and technology.
All right.
Why is, as I said, and this is important because Kenya must play a leading role in the tech sector if we are to compete with the best of the world, best in the world. And this is what we say. We told the president on Thursday, because the Koreans were there, and just to mention to Kenyans that the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology is modeled after the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, which has led the transformation of Korea from 1971 to today to what it is. All the companies that you see, Samsung, LG, are led by graduates of the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. What we said finally was we need to see we need you to change that. We just told the President William Ruto that his dream for this country of Kenya growing to first world country, that dream, the vehicle that will take us through that journey to first world country, is the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology.
Thank you very much. And so the last one is, when is the commissioning happening?
We did have a conversation with the president last week, and we are looking at having the commissioning take place next month. He was actually supposed to come on site for the word of the charter and commissioning of the facilities and the equipment. But because of the Africa Forward Summit, with all the heads of states in town, he only gave us 2-3 hours, no, actually 2 hours, to have a conversation with him, to get the charter awarded, and also to have a courtesy call from the Speaker of the National Assembly of Korea, who is the second highest, most powerful person out there. I think I'll share with you the videos just to listen to what the Koreans said about Kenya and about the journey that they have gone through in transforming their country and what Kenya can learn from that journey.
We have got a special invite during that official commissioning.
No, actually, we are going to have a conversation with my brother here to see how he can even come a bit earlier with his team to see what we're doing down there,
And I'm also in the committee of ICCII. So we are the ones who give them the funding.
Correct.
And we are, as a committee, we are so determined to really support them, because this is the future of Kenya, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Professor Emmanuel Mutise is the chair of the inaugural University Council. You are guiding the university's final construction and staff recruitment.
Correct.
Very good.
Thank you.
So let's wrap it up. Congratulations once again. And for KAIST, keep going. KBC is part and parcel of you.
Asante.
All right. Let's take a break. GMK continues after this. But you see, even one of the guests did not come because of the field day. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Victor.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible
Yes.
to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
I'm not doing it. Huh? What'd you say? I don't want to take the exam. But you haven't taken it. How'd you know you won't pass it?
Keep me company. Sit yourself down. How about you bring me some of your soup?
Sure.
When do you get off? Let's have dinner together.
You're thinking I know everything. I'm the one who should be grateful.
I know he's not the type to mess me around. He's just slow, really. Plus, he's stubborn.
Yo, ukimaliza unasemanga uoga mawe.
Kwani uliona wewe nguo za baba yako?
Naomba msaada wako.
Ni usaidizi gani? Uliona ile straight, ile inaitwa straight of Hamumus.
Hiyo nilionana naye lakini siko nasikia njaa.
Nikwambia vizuri.
Ukiona msichana mrembo hapa hivi akipita, mwambie arudi kwa plot.
Kwani ni wanaume wa wapi?
Yes, customer, habari.
Unafanya kazi ambayo si yako kwa nini? Kula hizo chakula zenu.
Wewe kwenda peleka huko mwesheshe.
We mzee. Hii si chakula yangu.
Mambo yako ikienda tu.
Aenda ka
Enda lete nyama ingine.
Alikuja na panya yake.
Many thanks for still keeping us company right here on KBC Channel 1. You're watching Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migo. Welcome back to the show. And now I want us to talk about matters that relate to bees. Now, you know, in Kenya, agriculture remains the backbone of our economy. And, there are indications that there are declining bee populations within the country, which now poses a great risk when it comes to honey production, also crop yields, and also environmental conservation. And that is why I want us to center our conversation today on why the future depends on the bees. There's a story that is carried on page 22 of the Star newspaper. Kenya faces honey deficit, depends on imports. Kenya is still unable to meet local demand for honey and other bee products, forcing the country to rely on imports from neighboring states. Stakeholders in the apiculture sector have said. That will form part of the conversation that I am having with Dinah Bosibori Momanyi, who is a livestock production officer. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good, and you?
I am great. You know, as a country, we are facing honey deficit. This is according to a report they are carried on the Star. Why do you think we are having declining bee population within the country?
Our bee populations are declining because of what we are doing as human beings, as Kenyans. Number one, we are destroying the natural habitats.
Yes.
There's a lot of deforestation going on in the country, and those are natural habitats for the bees. So the populations automatically are declining. Number two, there is indiscriminate use of chemicals. Fine agriculture is good, but how do we use our chemicals? If they're not used wisely, we are killing our bee populations. Yeah.
Indiscriminate use of chemicals.
Yeah.
And there's something we were talking about off air, about when you are in the rural areas, you could hear a swarm of bees passing by, which is something I really do not think is happening as much as it used to happen back then.
Fine. It is happening, yes, but it has decreased. When the populations decline,
yes,
what happens? Our numbers have declined. So the frequency at which the movement was happening, it's not happening.
Yes.
It's no longer happening. So the country should do something before we reach that critical part where we'll not have food in this country.
We should start now.
We should start now.
You work with farmers. What is your role within that sphere?
I am an apiculture expert. Previously, agriculture was a national function. But after devolution, it was a devolved function. It being devolved, what we do as national government, we do capacity building and offering technical assistance to the counties. What we do as national government, we do TOTs, training of trainers. We train counties. We in turn train farmers. So we don't deal with farmers directly.
Yes.
But we train our officers at county level who will in turn train farmers. When we get new technologies, research findings, we pass this information to the counties. We in turn pass it to the farmers. Yeah.
In that interaction, are there misconceptions that Kenyans may have when it comes to apiculture? Are there misconceptions that Kenyans may have when it comes to beekeeping?
Yes, there is. Some people believe people keep bees doing it for witchcraft purposes in some regions, like some parts of the coastal area. think areas around Matuga, when you tell people bees are good, and people could tell you people keep bees, they're doing it for witchcraft purposes. Another thing, there is that fear, bee phobia. People are scared of bees. But one thing I think I want to tell our viewers, they are just as friendly as you are. It's only issues on how do you manage these bees for you to harvest what they have. Yeah.
And you know, the world is set to mark the World Bee Day this year. And it's themed Together for People and the Planet, a partnership that sustains us all. What does this mean for farmers who have bees and have consumers of hive products?
I want to start by saying that the World Bee Day is being celebrated all over the globe. And around 2017, the UN declared for us to create awareness about the role of bees in pollination and food security issues. So around 2018, as a nation, we started celebrating the World Bee Day. And I think as Kenya, we've never skipped celebrating, apart from 2020, when we had Corona. So it's something which has been going on. So for this year, the question you've asked, for farmers, for all of us, it shows our relationship with the bees. And it makes us understand we've coexisted with bees since time immemorial. And then for farmers, I want to say that these are the most hard-working workforce, which is unpaid for by the farmers. Remember, bees do pollination services.
Yes.
Which is key for the farmers. And research has shown that crop yields increases by around 30 to 40% with pollination. But for some crops like sunflower, the production may go higher at around 80%. So it means, as a farmer, they are going to increase their yields. That is number one.
Yes.
Number two, there is the products which they are going to get from the bees. So even as we celebrate, as the theme says of this year, it's good for the farmers because their yields are going to be increased. And for the consumers, when you purchase honey, when you purchase propolis, people think that from the hive, we only get honey, but the other products. So when people consume, when consumers purchase honey, when they purchase propolis, when they purchase beeswax, they're supporting a very delicate ecology. In that, when they purchase this product, the farmer gets the money, yes. But this farmer has to keep healthy bee populations. And when the bee populations are healthy, the pollination part is going to take place, and our food security issues are taken care of. Yeah.
Does it also, does the World Bee Day encourage farmers to adopt sustainable environmental practices?
Of course, yes. If we don't sustain our environment, how will these bees thrive? As you celebrate the World Bee Day, what the message you're passing across is, let's conserve our environment. Number one, we should avoid destruction of the natural habitats. We should stop using chemicals which kill our bees. And by the end of the day, we are conserving the bees. And remember, bees conserve our ecosystem. Yeah.
And when you look at the theme, it kind of speaks about partnerships. But are we doing enough to ensure that farmers, researchers, policymakers, and markets are connected, or is the information, or is there a breakdown of linkage within that area? Is the information in silos?
Ideally, we should work as a partnership because there is no one individual who can conserve the bees. But somehow along the line, there is a broken communication kind of. That is why people are working in silos. Sometimes the researchers may do some research, and this information, sometimes it does not reach the farmers. Sometimes the development partners are doing something which maybe the government is not doing. So in an ideal situation, we should work as a partnership. A partnership is you gain something, I gain something. And the common goal is for the bee itself. Because if you're doing research on bees, I am training on bees. What are we doing? The major goal is we want to conserve this animal. Some people call it insects, but us in livestock, we call it an animal.
Why?
But it's an animal. That is where I'm from, from the livestock production part of it. Yeah. And whatever it's doing, it's for our own benefit. Yeah. So ideally, we should work together as a partnership for the betterment of the environment, for the betterment of the life of the bee.
Yeah, because this also translates to food security within the country. And when you look at the World Bee Day 2026, it's something that is marked, as you put it, globally. But why is it important for countries like Kenya?
I want to say that it's not only important for Kenya, but globally. Remember, you said something on the decline of bee populations.
Yes.
It's not only happening in Kenya, but it's all over the world. Researchers are saying we are facing a situation called insect degona. Insect degona is a situation whereby the bee populations are, the insect population are declining. And if they are declining, I want us to know that bees pollinate around 75% of the flowering plants. So when these populations decline, what happens to the pollination services? They decline. And when they decline, what happens to our food security? It's threatened. Let me come back to our country.
Yes.
Kenya is an agriculture country.
Yes.
Agriculture contributes to 22% to the gross domestic product. Sawa sawa? And it contributing 22% to the gross domestic product, it employs around 40% of the labor force. But look at our country, 80% it's on arsals, arid and semi-arid areas, 80%. And in these areas, crops do not perform well. But bees are very resilient. They do well in those areas. Number two, as a country, we are facing issues of climate change. The impacts of climate change. There are times it's very dry. There are times when the rains come, the issues of floods. But in such situations, when crops fail, bees don't fail. At least we'll harvest something. And this one can give some income to the farmer, and it will change the livelihood of the farmers. Yeah.
And also, you know, when you look at beekeeping, there's something about hive management, and which means hive management may contribute to the decline or increase of the bees, if you may handle that.
Yes. Ideally, people think if I have a hive and I place it somewhere, automatically I'm going to manage, I'm going to get some honey. But that is not the case. For us to get milk, we have to do A, B, C, and D. And for the bees, we say it's good for you to do something we call inspection.
Yes.
And while you're doing inspection, you want to check on how does that colony, a colony is a group of bees in one hive, how is that colony behaving? Is the queen there? Is it laying? So those are some of the things which you do. And in hive management, you have to check even the surrounding. What is happening in my surrounding? I am a bee farmer. You're an agriculture farmer, and you're using chemicals. How does it affect my bees? As a good manager of my colonies, I have to approach you and talk about how to use the same. When you're doing your hive management, how do you open your hive? What type of smoke are you using? Because you use smoke when working with bees. Are you using the type of smoke which is going to kill the bees?
Oh, there's a specific smoke that is...
There's some kinds which you don't use.
Okay.
Yeah. And some people use fire directly. So when you're using fire directly, the traditional way of doing it is you're going to kill the bees.
It's the DIY.
So management...
the DIY, do it yourself, kind of.
So the management aspect of beekeeping is very key. Yeah.
And, you know, still on this day, who are the main stakeholders that you're bringing together in these celebrations of World Bee Day?
I want to say that beekeeping is a partnership, and we have very many stakeholders. Number one, I want to start with us. It's good to love yourself, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Number two, you have the Apiculture Platform of Kenya. Apiculture Platform of Kenya is a body that brings together all bee value chain actors, be it farmers, processors, and exporters. Then you have researchers. We have farmers who are key. We have financial institutions. Yeah.
Now, you know, how can farmers and community participate in these celebrations, and what benefits do they stand to gain from it?
So for like in these years, if you are near Mombasa, we welcome you to the ground. But for those farmers who are not and who cannot make it to Mombasa, you can do something small for the bees. Like you can plant trees. You can come together as a community. Let me say that if you're from Turkana, you can come together as bee farmers from Turkana, then exchange knowledge on what you're doing, the best management practices you're doing, and how you're getting your products to help other farmers. Remember, we are saying beekeeping is a partnership. So by sharing knowledge with one another, they can help each other improve that. Yeah.
And if bee populations continue declining, as we are talking about, what could that mean in terms of food prices, food security, in the near future?
I want to go back and say there is a scientist by the name Einstein. He said if all bees die, we cannot live for 4 years. So what it means, if our bee populations are declining, our food security is threatened. Remember, bees do pollination. When they are doing pollination, number one, they increase the yield, the quantities of what we get. Number two, the quality of the food we get. And remember, when these numbers are going down, what happens with our crops? And what happens to the quantities of food we get? It declines. And our populations are increasing as a country or as a world at large. So it means we are going to lack food and we are going to die someday.
Let's look at profitability of beekeeping. How is it? How does that value chain look like, especially for smallholder farmers, women, and even youth groups?
Number one, if there is an investment investing in, it's in apiculture. Reason number one, it requires low capital investment. For you to buy a good cow, how much does it cost? I'm asking you, how much does a good cow?
A good cow?
Yes.
From 100,000 shillings.
From 100,000.
Yes.
With
a good cow that will give you good amount of milk.
But with apiculture, you need around 50,000. You'll buy around 5 hives. You buy the protective gear. And from one hive, with good management, you can get around 20 kilos of honey per season. And per season, I mean, when it rains, the plants do the flowering part of it. Previously, we used to say we have 2 seasons in Kenya. With climate change, we cannot say. But in a year, you can harvest around 40 kilos. So 40 times 5 hives.
200.
200.
Yes.
At farm gate price in Kenya is around 500 shillings. So how much is that?
Wow.
And then, not only do you get honey, you can get other products. So compare that with from the dairy cattle and the investment in feeding that cow as comparison to what the bees do. Because with the bees, if you place them in the apiary, they go out foraging, so long as there are plants to forage from. So it's a low capital investment. Number two, it's not labor intensive. You can do inspection once a month. But how many times do you feed a cow?
Every day.
Every day. Number 3, women and youth don't own land. True or false? In our country. But they can do apiculture within the land which they do not own, because they can convince their parents, if they're the youth, if the lady can convince the husband, these bees are going to do pollination for the crops. At the end of the day, they're going to get something which will change their lives. And there's so many things which you can do, which you can get at the end of the day.
Yes.
After harvesting honey, depending on the type of hive you have, you get other products which you can sell and make money. So for the youth, it's a good area which you can venture into. Yeah.
You mentioned something about hive inspection. For someone probably who has a hive or several of those, when you're doing hive inspection, what are you looking out for? What are you searching for?
Number 1, you want to check on the condition of the colony. In a hive, we have 3 types of bees. We have the queen bee, who does the laying. We have the workers, as the name suggests, to go out, bringing in the nectar, doing the defense part of it, and we have the drones. The work is mating the queen, which is done once. So when you're opening the colony, is the queen laying? If she's laying, how is the pattern? And if she's not laying, what should you do as a farmer? Number 2, if there is you check if there is honey. And if there is honey, at what stage? We don't go harvesting everything. We harvest only what is ripe. And we check if there is the presence of pests. And as a farmer, you do something. Yeah.
What kind of pest affects bees?
We have small beetles. We have wax moth. Sometimes you can get even snakes, depending on where they are. You can get rats. So you go inspecting and seeing, are my bees okay? There are those ones which the bees can defend themselves against, but there are those which they cannot do. And sometimes you may get that something died inside the hive. So what the bees do, they propolize that. So as a farmer, we say when you're doing your inspection, you're checking what is inside the hive, you should also clean that hive for the environment to be suitable for the bees. Yeah.
And that is all about hive inspection.
Yeah.
You know, if something is to happen and secure the future, because as we are saying, the future depends on bees. Are there policies or actions that are needed from the government and communities to ensure that they support agriculture and bee conservation?
Yes. Number 1, I think we need a very strict policy on the use of chemicals in this country. It's good to use chemicals for some crops, but how do you use this? Remember, I've just said that indiscriminate use of chemicals has killed our bee populations.
Yes.
So we should have strict regulations on that and strict enforcement. Another issue, I think we have regulations on the quality standards of the bee products. But if you go all over the country, you'll get adulterated honey. So the enforcement part of it should be enforced strictly so that people can consume the right product. Yeah. Number 3, we should, the government should ensure that the national policies on apiculture are well coordinated with what is happening in the counties. As much as agriculture is a county government, whatever happens in the county should be reflected. Whatever the national government wants should be reflected in the county level in terms of conservation of the bees.
Yes.
For the farmers, they should ensure that they conserve the environment.
Yes.
Because the environment is theirs.
Yeah.
And they want to get the product. So they should ensure that the environment is well conserved. They should plant, I think, more trees for the future of the bees.
And when you look at apiculture in general, are there bee products that have highest export and commercial potential?
I don't want to talk about export potential because all of them have. But I want to look at it in this way. What products do we get from the hive apart from honey? I want to say that at farm level, at farm gate, what fetches the least amount is honey. Because you can get it at around 500 shillings.
Yes.
We have beeswax. After processing honey, whatever remains, you process wax.
Yeah.
This wax at farm gate price is around 650 shillings. And it's used for making cosmetic products.
Yes.
We have another product called propolis. It's the bees collect it from trees, but research has shown that it's an antibacterial and antiviral. At farm gate price, it ranges from 3,200 to 5,000 per kilo. We have bee venom for apitherapy purposes. As a country, we've not ventured into East, but we have around 2 to 3 farmers who are doing it. And then you have the royal jelly. Royal jelly is good for us, for you and me, because we don't want to grow old. Ama, you want to grow old?
Well, time has a way of catching up.
But it makes you remain young. So that is another product which you can get from the hive.
Yes.
So it's a value chain which has immense potential. And if well nurtured, if well taken care of, it can change the livelihoods of many Kenyans in this country.
Yeah. And finally, in the long term, are there actions that you think should happen to ensure that bees, the ecosystem they support, is well taken care of for the survival of future generations?
There is the program that the president has been doing of planting trees. But I want to say that even as they plant trees, they should consider trees that are bee-friendly. Bees get nectar from plants, but not every plant. So I think when each year we are planting trees, a certain percentage, if you are planting, let me say 100,000 trees,
yes,
around 60,000 trees should be bee-friendly. Because remember our discussion, there's the issue of pollination,
yes,
there's the issue of food. If these bees have got food to eat, it's good for you and me, and it's good for this nation. And for a nation to be food secure, we need these bees. So number one, the issue of tree planting. Number two, we should have a strategy as a nation on how to conserve this important animal. In that it should not be seen as the work of the government alone. It should be seen as the work of each one of us, starting from the preschool children up to the policymakers. So another thing, I think apiculture should be introduced in schools at a lower age. That children should know that bees do pollinate food, plants, and that is what makes you to have what you are having. That even as these children grow up, they'll learn conservation issues of the bees. It should be introduced to universities. It should be, at least each and every department in this nation should do something about bees, should do something about conservation. And even to the farmers, I think they should move from the intensive chemical kind of farming to eco-friendly farming so that we can conserve our bees. Yeah.
You know, you said about this being introduced in schools, na nikakumbuka the 4K club back in the day that ilikuwa kuungana kusaidia Kenya something. That should be part of the...
Yes, apiculture should be introduced early. I'm not saying that because I work in that industry, but because of the importance of that animal. Let me call it animal, as I've been saying. I want to say, as a country, we talk about exports. There is the export of avocados and other things. But do you know what is behind that? The bees.
The bees.
For good quality food, for good food quality fruit, it's just to get a good pollination. For the shape and the quality of the oil. So we should promote it Yeah. It should be a talk of the day for each one of us, so that this we can reverse what is happening. Come 5-10 years down the line, if you don't do something about the bees, as a nation, we are going to starve.
Talk to someone who has bees and those who plan on keeping bees, and also to someone who does not even know why bees are important.
To those who are keeping bees, please continue. And you are doing something good for this nation. You are changing livelihoods. For those who don't know, bees are very key for you, the food which you eat at the table. And I want specifically to talk to the youth and women. Our livelihoods as women can change if we invest in apiculture, if we invest in beekeeping, because the small income which you are going to get from the products which you are going to sell, it's going to change your household. It's going to change your life. Bees are going to help you pay school fees for your children. And I want to say, for those who believe keeping bees is for witchcraft issues, it's a lie. For those who see bees as enemies, I want you to change and see that bees as friends, which can give you food and which can change your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
That is Dina Bosibori Mwanyi, who is the Livestock Production Officer, talking to us about why the future depends on bees. And I hope you have learned a thing or three right here on Good Morning Kenya. This is where this conversation ends. Good Morning Kenya continues shortly, but then again we'll be focusing on the Western Spectrum with one Simon Achola. Stay with us.
Jina! Aki watoto wa siku hizi wakiwa nasumbua. Usikose kuona Gundu KBC Channel 1 every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Ujionee hivi vituko vya watoto wa siku hizi wanaosumbua wazazi na mengine mengi. Keep it Gundu. Jina!
I'm not doing it. Huh? What'd you say? I don't want to take the exam. But you haven't taken it. How'd you know you won't pass it?
Keep me company. Sit yourself down. How about you bring me some of your soup?
Sure.
When do you get off? Let's have dinner together.
You're thinking I know everything. I'm the one who should be grateful.
I know he's not the type to mess me around. He's just slow, really. Plus, he's stubborn.
Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. This is the Western Spectrum, a program that comes to you every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. In the morning. And of course, today we are discussing, or rather, this is the month of mental health awareness. And today we are discussing mental health in universities. And of course, there are no better people to discuss that issues than students in our local universities will actually tell us what is actually being done and what initiatives as students they're actually doing to ensure that indeed they bridge the gap. Of course, they bring to the four issues that students are actually facing, so that then administrations can actually take up the matter and ensure that indeed that issue is tackled. On set, of course, we have Catherine Makalama Olga from the University of Nairobi, and of course we have Taib Hussein Taib from Uzima University here in Kisumu. Or Hussein, I should also say the Uzima University from Kisumu.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. According to studies, Kate, between 30 and 40% of students in our universities are actually experiencing symptoms of mental health issues. I mean, what exactly is happening in these institutions?
So thank you so much. Basically, mental health is a condition, or rather a state of emotional or psychological well-being. And in mental health, there's so many aspects. There is the financial aspects, there is the normal livelihood of someone living and how it affects them. And with mental health, it's not just an illness. And actually, most of us forget about mental health and its importance as just a physical health. And physical health and physical well-being, mental well-being is important in someone's aspect of life, because this affects their decision making, affects their normal lifestyle and how they react to people, how they live as individuals. And we're living in a state where it's very, very important for you to be in a very normal state, for you to be optimal for yourself and the people around you. Yes.
You have said that this is not, it's not just looked as an illness, but of course a condition, and with other contributory factors. Taib, that to me is one of the biggest issues, because even at the basic level in our homes, when someone is actually in a place where their mental state is not in a proper condition, we are always looking at those people as not sick, but huyu ako tuna stress zake kidogo atakuwa sawa. Is that where we actually miss the point?
We can say that is the first part of missing the point, because as Kate has just alluded here, is the mental health aspect encompasses not only having the illness, but also being able to cope normally with the stresses, and also ensuring that we as humans can live a fruitful, emotionally safe environment. So by a person, when he's stressed, we can confidently say that his mental health at that time is a little bit impaired. Similar to a person that is having chills or a person that is having a fever, we can say that this person physically is a little bit sick, but not is sick in terms of illness, but at least there's something that is off in him. So if we start disregarding that, usually our bodies have a tendency to regulate. But when they extend a certain period, our bodies tend to lose the regulation, and now we fall into the other part, because we know that mental health and mental illness is just a spectrum of the same thing.
Spectrum of the same thing. Culturally, Kate, women tend to, have a lot of disadvantages, especially because of the expectations, societal expectations, right? And I'm looking at it from a perspective of you coming from your village, Namboboto village, right? And going all the way to Nairobi. And you are a young girl, but also just transitioning into adulthood. And you still want to be your mama's child, but at the same time, you're supposed to be an adult in school and actually take care of your situation. How is the situation for women in universities?
Universities, and I'm glad you mentioned the aspect of transition. You from high school, maybe 19 years old at most, you're going to university and you're leaving. Now I left where I came from, went all the way to Nairobi to do the course that I'm doing right now. And the transition is very, very big. You can actually see it. In high school, you don't have the freedom. But then in campus, you have the leeway to do whatever you want to do. And for those who have come from, it's a long distance from home to now school, they see the city, they want to explore, they want to do different things that they haven't done, or rather, they weren't able to do when they were in high school. So with the freedom comes so much expectations, comes so much disappointment, perhaps, to yourself and maybe to your family. And as ladies and women in general, if you're having mental health issues, let's say it's been brought by financial struggles, you might find yourself getting yourself into coping mechanisms that maybe aren't suitable for you. As a lady, there'll be so much pressure.
What are some of the coping mechanisms that you say might not be actually suitable?
I said freedom, exploration. There'll be the substance use, You didn't do them in high school, and now you have the opportunity, maybe. You've been exposed to them. There is the pressure, friends, you've been exposed to perhaps alcohol, substance use, and you get yourself using them to maybe cope for the stresses, financially problems, academic problems. Yeah, you get yourself coping to them. And in this current generation, there's so many talks of ladies and older people. I don't know, it's
cross-generational
yes. And it's so much out there that as an individual, if you aren't aware of yourself, you may actually be knocked out because of this.
Is it because of choices, or is it because of the prevailing conditions, or is it just because of peer pressure?
Well, there are so many contributing factors to all of this. It could be there's so many contributing factors that lead to an individual, a lady, to do things that they weren't able to do when they were back in high school, or back when they were not exposed to conditions. Yes.
Looking at the whole spectrum, how do you then mitigate the situation?
As what Kate has just said, the issue here is a multifactorial thing. So targeting it requires also multifactorial. So in the aspects of the coping mechanisms, so what we can do is establish that, especially because the critical point, as per the studies that have been done, that 40% of the students, especially the first years, have the highest mental health burden. So we can use that because they're in the ones that are in the transition phase. So we can ensure that we have talks with them as early as possible, exposing them that the life here is not as they had been told earlier on or been given a picture of previously. So it's not like a life in a silver platter. Things here are difficult. Things tend to be this way, but you have to stand to your principles. You have to understand yourself. You have to get to know why you are here, and so on. So that can be a starting point to ensuring that the coping mechanisms, especially with the substance use, aren't being indulged by those students. Because at the same time they were youths, and we also have the peer pressures. So by ensuring that the whole group is counseled, has been has been talked about the issue, so it reduces and mitigates the issue. To a good level.
Fantastic. When you look at the numbers that we have, just before you add Kate, when you look at the numbers that we have in our tertiary institutions, right, and you look at the traditional way of how our education is structured, there's always that gap between what you'd call administration and, of course, the students. How then do we bridge the gap so that then we ensure that the administration is actually alive to what is actually happening with the students, and the students are actually open enough to actually reach out to the administration so that then they can actually be assisted, because that is one of the issues. Quite often we hear that something has happened to a student in institutions of higher learning, but the administration is not aware. They're actually just coming to learn of it later. How then do we bridge the gap?
That's a good one, because currently there is also a research that has been done in UON and in KMTC that uses the gazebo method. So it's like a safe space for the students. But the gazebo method has to be initiated from the administration. So the administration gives the willpower, gives the capacitation to the students, and let it to be a student-led initiative. So by funding it and by also training the student peers, which can be also advocates and can also be like the trainers for the other students. So we can use that. About 924 students have been stated in that study, have been benefited, and the study is continuous, and the gazebo method is ongoing. We can implement those in the different higher institutions, ensuring that the gap between the administration and the student has been reached at a close by.
Fantastic. Then the question I would ask, because when you say gazebo, we have a hazy picture of what gazebo is. So then if you just actually probably expound further, so then a student who is actually at home or in Alupe University or in Chuka University can actually understand what gazebo study is all about and what it entails to do. And according to your deduction, what exactly is it about?
It was named gazebo because of how a gazebo is. Gazebo usually placed in a place where there's a cool environment, chilled environment, a place for relaxation. Yes. That's why the name gazebo was used. So basically, it's just a safe space. Can be a room, can be a space, can be a hall, can be a corridor whereby people meet and talk. But in this aspect, it is student-led. So that means that there are peer-to-peer mentorship and peer-to-peer guidance and counseling. So there is no the administration part coming in because the student may also be afraid if they see the different lecturers there. So it may also lead to some students not trying to open up and thereby affecting their helping. So that's on the part of the gazebo and how it can actually be used.
Okay. Just riding on the point that he's actually talked about in terms of being a student-led and peer-to-peer engagement to ensure that indeed we can actually help each other. You are part of an organization or a movement in Nairobi University that is actually actively involved in ensuring that you tackle mental health in that institutions. Just tell about that movement, and two, how then do we leverage on technology to ensure that one, instead of actually having a sit down, because with the demands that come with the education system in the country, at times it is difficult to actually have that safe space in terms of sitting down, right? How then do we leverage on technology to ensure that indeed we have more people, more young people on this space and can actually discuss mental health?
So one on the organization that I actively participate in and lead, that's Standing Committee on Mental Health. It's part of the standing committees that Medical Students Association of Kenya, MSAKE, and TIB is also part of the MSAKE leadership. We aim to promote mental health now under SCOMH, Standing Committee on Mental Health. We aim to promote mental health, advocacy, and just create awareness across mental health illnesses and how students in the universities, at least medical students in the different universities, could be assisted. And before I get to the technology aspect, back to the administration, there's so many universities that maybe I can speak from our experience. There are so many structures that are there for students. For our case, we have the gazebos, yes, but they are the wellness centers. These wellness centers have counselors, and students maybe are not aware of that. So to the students out there, there could be a wellness center in your university that you could actually take advantage of. There are free counselors who are employed by the school, by your uni. You could go talk to them. You could go get help from them. So other than the peer-to-peer mentorship that we all try and promote, because I know my case, you know your case. When we come together, we are able to come up with solutions for one another, because we are in these spaces, we are the ones going through the problem. So when we talk to each other, we are able to get solutions to our problems. Yes, with the peer-to-peer, there's still the university, the counselors, go use them, utilize them, and get professional help.
You talk about technologies.
Now back on technology. Not everyone will be able to sit in one place and talk about their issues. We have gadgets, we have, gadgets in general, the internet. We're in this century where technology is very, very paramount. And if you're behind with technology, then you have a lot to catch up on. So for...
How can you be behind technology and you're in a university? I mean, good.
Familiar with the tools that are very helpful for them. So with technology, you can be able to explore so many things using your gadget, so long as you are connected to the internet. You can get help through your phone just by a screen. Tap, tap, tap. There is someone on the other side who can be able to talk to you. And I'm not talking about the AIs. I don't know, you go to ChatGPT, I'm feeling this way, how can I do? What can I do to help myself?
Specific tools that are actually being cultured to ensure that you can actually get help, yeah? Yes.
Yes. Chiromo Wellness Centers, they have online platforms where you could log in talk to someone one-on-one and get help. There is another tool, I don't know if this is only for students at the University of Nairobi, it's called the Radar app. You just have to sign up to that app and you'll get an online counselor who is going to talk to you, who you're going to chat with, and they're going to give you real help, you know, and it's just by using your screen, as simple as that.
Great. Taib, we have talked about institutions at great length, right? But the other pressure also comes from our communities, comes from expectations. A student who has just transitioned from high school and is getting into a university, in most situations, and especially from poor backgrounds, people are already looking at you as the savior of the community, the savior of a family, right? And that comes with expectations, right? And some families, even just going to university, your parents will be calling you and expecting something, you send something home, right? Is it time that also, community reduced expectations? And especially now that, of course, even just getting a job is also a hassle, right? Is it time that we actually reduced expectations from these kids?
What I can say is that time for us to change, it was in the past. So currently, what the community or the culture is doing to these students, it's just having an additional burden to what they already have. Yeah, that's what I can say. Because you are not earning in a university. Instead, you are the one paying there, yeah, and being expected to show up in different places using your own tuition and fees, and also your transportation. So that is the thing that our people from the community, have to understand that we are not here working yet. Yeah. So the transition should have been in the past. Yeah, maybe during your time. Yeah.
When you are invested and you are bound to get some stipends here and there, right? Yeah. Yes.
Crisis in the universities. Yes, because we are there to learn. Most of us are not working. So during the holiday, if you don't work and get enough money, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle the other side. Because yes, you have to pay your tuition fee. If it's not your parents, then maybe a support, they help, and sometimes it's delays, you know. If it's not help, you have to find your own ways, and that means instead of going to class, you'll be working somewhere just to get that 100 bob to go and eat in the evening. And when people say Kuinama is actually really in the campus. Someone skips breakfast, they skip lunch. They just want to eat one meal in the evening that's going to sustain them the entire time. So if haujafanya kazi to get money for food, you don't have money for personal things. I think especially ladies, the personal effects are very important. And if you don't have the finances, the financial capability or the muscles to get that for yourself, it's gonna be problematic for you.
I'm tempted to ask Kate just before Taib comes in, as a student, and we have interacted quite a lot before actually having this show, and I kept on asking you, when are you getting time so that then you can actually come, we discuss about mental health in institutions of higher learning, and you kept on telling me about time, and I want to look at it from a perspective where you are expected to be in class from 7 up until 5 in the evening. Where do you get time to actually work on the sidelines so that then you can actually get resources to finance yourself?
Sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. If it means waking up early at 4 a.m., you do your studies at that time, and then 7 to 5, you give it your all to school, to classwork. And then now 5 to 6 or whichever time you're going to sleep. For myself, I sleep a bit late because I have to get things for myself. So I have to upskill. And I think everyone should be doing that. There is more to life than just the course you're doing. There's so many courses you could take on the side, and then once you become better at them, you now go and maybe get money from, you monetize your skill. So for my case, I'll wake up early in the morning and sleep a bit late, you know, so that I put my academic workforce on the good and my upskilling on the good too, and then also my social life, and now getting to do things like this. Yeah.
The one of the issues that Kate has brought up, and it's quite important, is horizontal learning, right? You are actually doing medicine, right? But the other small skills that you can actually, take up to ensure that you're actually surviving in the community away from your main course. How important is that?
I can't say the exact words because skilling yourself, let me call it that way, a new word, or upskilling yourself is a very critical journey that a youth has to engage in, because by you just depending on the coursework or that whatever you are learning to help you monetize yourself is a little bit challenging and backsided, or backwards, because what I can say is currently in this generation, people are being employed, and not only employed, but starting startups that they have just gained by skilling themselves. People currently are doing jobs that they haven't been caused upon. So a person does a course in IT but ends up doing a different startup completely. Why? Because of the skill the person that has gotten in that time. So the person gets to see the issues that are there in the society, the problems that are there, and with the skill that the person has, and solves the problem, and hence getting money from it.
Basically increasing our or stretching our latitude in terms of how we can actually survive. Kate, one other issue that we seem to have just touched on a little bit but not delved into it much has been the issue of peer pressure in the institutions of higher learning. Because Kate is donning the designer outfit, and I don't know her background. I don't know where she's found the designer outfit. I also want to don the same. I want also to, wear the best cologne in the market. How then do we ensure that this peer pressure is actually minimized in our institutions to a level where people are not going out of the way, missing classes, getting mental stress, just to, fit in the community?
That's the most important word that I think I'd say for that question. Self-awareness. Just know who exactly you are, what you want, right? If you want to go for a party and you don't have the muscles or the financial muscles to do that, then ask yourself, why am I going, or why do I want to go, right? And when I'm going there, what is expected of me? Is it my time, my resources, my finances, the little that I have? And what am I going to get in return? This is a party. What am I going to get in return? Is there someone that I'm going to network with? Is there someone that I'm going to get to know and they're going to be helpful to me? Maybe not academically, but just as a mentor, Just self-awareness. Get to know, why am I doing this? How is it going to serve me in the long run? And if I'm doing it, is it going to impact on me positively or negatively? And then from there, you do your analysis, and then you'll be like, yes, this is going to help me, then let me go. This is not going to help me, then why do I want to go then? Let me sit down and do something else in return that is going to be helpful to me and is going to be helpful to maybe someone else, my neighbor, my family, my relative even. Yes.
And
return
said, on the matter of self-awareness, we can also take it a notch higher and also reflect it back to the administration, because the people, the youths, as the word says, peer pressure. So there's the pressure, there's the energy, morale, motisha, liko hapo. So we can use that. So from the administration, what they can do is that they can also ensure that the skills or the things that are being taught in the course are not only the not only the normal Bachelor of Science in accounting or what, or Bachelor of Arts in accounting that was taught 10 years ago is currently the one that is setting up here. That is being taught currently. That means that they have to update the curriculum to ensure that it fits the real life situations that are currently here. So maybe in now the times of AI, in terms of generative models that are there and so on, how can their courses be structured so that they integrate this, so that their student can monetize that and use that, so that there is no that peer pressure thinking. Yeah.
Yes, great. I wanted to talk about return on investment, but you have actually touched on it. The next question then that I would ask Kate and Taib is the issue of, I know in your space it is a little bit easier in terms of transitioning from classes going into attachment. It's not as difficult as any other courses, right? I don't know, you'll actually tell us. However, one of the issues that I find, and within the last 1 month or so, I've actually received applications close to, 150 students just asking for attachment. Is it something that we actually need to, because these transition spaces for students, not just for attachment or not just for attachment, but also internship and actually now getting jobs. Is this something that the government needs to work on seriously? Because at times you come into universities and you're doing a certain course and you're so certain that I'm going to get a job. However, as you continue to learn, as you continue to be skilled in that particular course, you realize, I am going to join another 1,001, hundreds of thousands of other trainees that are actually now just out there and doing nothing. Is it part and parcel of what actually is contributing to this mental health?
True. And post-medical school or post-campus is a reality. I'd speak from the course that I'm doing and the people I've gotten to interact with. Post-medical school is a bit stressful. Now, the transition in between medical school and internship. And currently, we've been kept to wait for almost a year. Imagine spending 6 to 7 years in campus, and then before going for internship, KMPDU makes you wait for around a year so that you go. And then with going, it's a system where it's mental torture. How do you end up happy? No. The thought of, I schooled in Nairobi and then it's gonna be random. I'm gonna be placed somewhere that I'm not familiar with. It keeps you at a very mental torture for a whole year. How do you take you don't know how the environment is going to be. So, and most of our system, or rather our system, is not tackling that. Bora wao wamefanya vitu zao, they don't care about you. They just know after that 1 year, huyo tutamweka tu hapo na ataenda kufanya vitu zake. And in now the working space, there is also not much support. Imagine you didn't get support in medical school. Wewe ndo umejitafutia fee, umejitafutia upkeep money, and then ukaekwa ungoje 1 year, hauna kazi unafanya. Because before you are employed, you have to go for internship, get licensed. Na uko kwa hiyo, you're in a limbo, hujui kitu unafanya. You're just waiting. And then ukienda kazi, still, there is no much support. You get interns working for long hours. Very weird environment. Mtu anaenda shift 50 plus hours. I don't know, that's so crazy.
I have touched Arona. I can see you're very emotional about it. Just in closing, because 30 seconds and then we close this discussion. Taib, you're closing the marks? Yeah, you're closing the marks.
I can say is for us ensuring that mental health in higher institutions is actually achievable, is not only through the students, but it has to involve administration and policy. The policy has to change, and that is from the national government.
And also parents, right?
And also parents.
Closing remarks?
Tell our students, you don't need to feel alone. There is so much help out here. It's you to look. Open your eyes.
Fantastic. Those are students from our institutions of higher learning, that is Nairobi University. Kate Makalama Olga, and Hussein Taib Hussein, who is a student at Uzima University here in Kisumu, of course, discussing issues pertaining to mental health. And the statistics we're actually getting is that 3 to 4 out of 10 students in our universities are actually experiencing symptoms of mental health, and it's something that you actually need to address, as of course they have said that will take the effort of the government, the effort of the school administrations, the students themselves, and of course parents and the community as a whole. This is a discussion that we can actually continue on our social media handles. Achala Simon is my social media handle across all platforms. You can also do it on KBC at Channel 1. Also, you can do it on our Mayenga digital platforms and all KBC digital platforms. On behalf of each and every person who's actually made this possible, thank you very much for coming, Kate and Taib. Our colleague Christine Adhiambo, who is on cameras, and of course Martin Kibuti, and our logistics person Edwin Otieno, and also we're not forgetting this hotel for providing Mirage Palace Hotel for providing this space for us to actually have this conversation every Monday. It's a thank you from us, and of course we take you back to Broadcasting House.
Jina! Aki watoto wa siku hizi wakiwa wanasumbua. Usikose kuona Gundu KBC Channel 1 every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Ujionee hivi vituko vya watoto wa siku hizi wanaosumbua wazazi na mengine mengi. Keep it Gundu. Jina!
I'm not doing it. Huh? What'd you say? I don't want to take the exam. But you haven't taken it. How'd you know you won't pass it?
Keep me company. Sit yourself down. How about you bring me some of your soup?
Sure.
When do you get off? Let's have dinner together.
You're thinking I know everything. I'm the one who should be grateful.
I know he's not the type to mess me around. He's just slow, really. Plus, he's stubborn.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe. Time now for Family Check. And today we are looking at the whole institution of modern day marriage and the challenges they are in and how they can affect marriages. But then again, how do we restore the matrimonial foundation? Because marriage is one of the things that the society, probably back in the days and ostensibly up to now, is considered most stable institutions. But then again, there is the whole aspect of dealing with modern day pressures. We are talking about navigating financial strain. We are talking matters to do with emotional disconnect, issues of unrealistic expectation. In all this, how do we ensure that we have strong marriages, and what does a strong marriage even look like in the modern day world? For that conversation, I'm joined by Apostle Helen Anthony, who is a financial advisor, counselor, and founder of Marital Travel International. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
It's been a minute since you graced Good Morning Kenya.
It's been a minute.
Umekuaje?
Nimekuwa vyema. I love the
Yes.
Lord for giving me this opportunity to
Yes.
come back again.
And you know, in the previous segment that ended,
Yeah.
they were looking at the mental health regarding university students. Do you
Yeah.
think there's some sort of mental health that needs to be addressed when it comes to the marital area, marital aspects?
Too much. Actually, it is just a continuation from what has just been aired. We can just even continue, but maybe for the next time. But the mental issues and the mental challenges are rampant in our marriages today. Very rampant.
Yeah, and they're affecting the dynamics they're in.
Yeah.
So let's get into today's conversation and context, foundation and purpose. When we talk about strong marital foundation, Apostle, what exactly are we referring to today, especially now that we are living in a very connected world? When you look at technology, everything is happening on social media, matters to do with shared values, faith, emotional intelligence, financial instability are very common. When you talk about strong marital foundation, what are we looking at?
What I can say today, Mike, is that marriage is under pressure. Today's marriage is under so much pressure, socially, spiritually, culturally. Like the spiritual part of it has what they believe in. The social part of it has their own contribution towards today's marriage. Cultural part of it, how you're brought up, what your grandpas does, what your grandmas do,
the
all they
expectation.
did. So all these things, they are now trying to shape our today's marriage. But what I can see is we need to get back the reality of the marriage initially as God designed it. In as much as there is all these pressures, we should not be directed by whatever is happening, because we are taking it casually. Anytime we accommodate cultural practices, some spiritual practices that are not biblical, they leave us as casualties, the people that are in marriage. Because anything that you take casually, it leaves you a casualty. And it leaves you a casualty anytime now you borrow social practices, what people are doing in social media, what what we believe that should be done other than the biblical part of it. I believe that marriage is a sacred thing and it was designed by God. And when God designs this institution, he doesn't leave it to a cultural practice to run it, social standards to run it. He leave it under his own hands, all onto his own hands. So the only way to do marriage and overcome the modern challenges is to go back to what God said about the marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that when you look at the foundation today and the perception that the current generation has on marriage, has it shaken the core of the foundation of the marital area within the society? How?
Now, the foundation has been shaken because cultural practices and any other thing is just supporting the structure. And as long as the foundation is wrong, the structure cannot be right. So we are calling them to come back to the foundation. And the foundation of marriage is God, nothing else. So unless now we begin to treat the foundation, the structure cannot stand. It is like building a big house, then the foundation is wrong, and we are expecting the structure to stand. That is what is happening today. So can we call them back to the foundation of marriage? Because if the foundation is shaken, what can the righteous do? The foundation of marriage is already shaken, Mike.
And when you look at marriage today, Apostle, is it viewed as a covenant? A lifelong institution, or has it now become a negotiable partnership where it's built around convenience and personal fulfillment?
You see, marriage is a covenant. It is until death do us part. That is what the Bible says. But in our modern day, we are finding it is until I get tired. You know, until I get tired of supporting you, until I get tired of maybe chipping in to foot bills, until I get tired being patient with you, until I get tired forgiving you. And now what I'm thinking is, Mike, is that we need to go back to the covenant part of it. I know that God gave you a person who is not complete so that you may complete each other. So the fruits of the Holy Spirit in this institution must take the lead. But in our modern days today, we are seeing people leaving the forgiveness part of it, or whatever makes a union a covenant, not a transactional issue. It is not transactional. So whatever makes it a covenant, we are seeing people running away from it and feel like, oh, instead of forgiving this man 1,000 times, I better get into a new relationship, thinking a new relationship or a new partner will fill in the gap. That is why we are continuing with a sick generation. Somebody who is in the first marriage, second marriage, but still behaving the same because that person did not heal
from the previous relationship.
Yes.
Which now begs the question, because I'm looking at it from a different perspective. When a couple is getting into the matrimonial covenant or that setup nowadays, do they define the intentions or the reasons they came together, they're getting into marriage? Are they clear of what they want? Or what is driving that? What drives a good foundation for marriage?
All right, now there is purpose. Why are you marrying? The person you are looking into settlement with. Like, you see nowadays, we settle in marriages because of maybe chemistry, how I feel, how I see, but all those things are good, but they cannot sustain a single marriage. Purpose will make a marriage stand, even when there is storms. But you see nowadays we are like, I'm looking for a person who is working like me so that we can be able to cost share what is happening in this marriage. But you are not looking at the future. Marriage is no longer personal.
From what you've said, I think, is it that people are foregoing companionship and getting into a transactional kind of a relationship?
Yes.
So between companionship and partnership,
yes,
where should marriage be strong?
You see, marriage is companionship. It is not anything like, you know, when God was speaking in the book of Genesis, he said that I will give him a companion suitable. Companion suitable. You know, there is suitability in that companionship. Now, you look for, watu wengine wanaangalia, you're looking for maybe whatever that settles your emotions instead of compatibility and the purpose and the future of your marriage.
Yes.
So when you are looking for a spouse, please look at your future. Beauty fades, money goes,
children go,
things goes. You know, when you get children, they will just leave you. But what about your future? We need to put into considerations all these things as we look forward to settle. And this goes to the young people. When you're looking for a spouse, please consider the things that your pastor doesn't tell you to discuss about. They are never told about finances. They don't discuss finances before marriage. They don't discuss sex before marriage. They don't discuss spirituality part of it. Where do we need to go to church? Because we are finding people, a couple that worships in different altars, part of spirituality. There should be a common altar taking place in a home. But you see, my husband goes to a different church, Helen goes to a different church. It brings spiritual confusion in the home.
What of the children in that setup? Does that make the children... does that put the children in a situation where they have to choose?
We leave them in a dilemma. We leave them to choose what was meant to be followed. Because when we talk of ungodly marriage, there is an order.
Yes.
Whereby the husband is the head of the home as Christ is the head of the church.
Yes.
And now the wife becomes the neck and the children follows later. So the children needs to follow the leadership of the father. And now the mother also is doing her own things. The mother is going this way, the father is going this way. The children are left at the center
middle.
to choose, to make a hard decision. Where there, it was supposed to be just a flow in a marriage.
What does it mean for the couple? Now, away from the children, what does it mean for the couple? Because I'm looking at the instance where a couple, they go to different churches, but then they're blessed with children.
Yeah.
I decide the children are going to follow me. Would the other person feel like I am taking away their spiritual responsibility from the children?
I'll begin by saying that there is leadership lapse in that kind of a setup. Because before a wife chooses an altar, where is the position of a man in this family? When we talk about leadership, it is a wholesome thing. Spiritual leadership, financial leadership, social leadership, every other aspect. You need to give a direction as a husband. This is where, you know, when we talk about Elikana, the Bible speaking says that Elikana used to go to Shiloh. He used to lead his family to Shiloh for worship. So it was a duty of this man to lead his own family to go to Shiloh to worship. But what are we expecting today? Only women, the mothers, are carrying the children to even to Sunday school, even to churches. You just walk around and you see every Sunday morning a mother pulling 2 children, 3 children, running to church. Our husbands are failing us. Our fathers are failing us. It is the high time they come back to their senses and take their position so that a generation that we are leading can be able to follow.
I ask that because it's a foundational pillar that is important, especially when a young couple is getting into marriage.
Yes.
I think it's a whole different perspective. It's a whole different conversation that we need to take along those directions.
Yeah.
But then again, there's something else I need to bring into consideration. You know, you look at many couples today, they are preparing for weddings extensively.
Yes, yes.
But very little for marriage itself.
Yeah.
Because a wedding and a marriage are two different things.
Yes.
Now, do you think modern couples are entering into marriage emotionally and psychologically unprepared?
Yes, because of pressure. At the age of 30, when are you getting married? At the age of 29, you are getting late for marriage. So anybody that comes your way, it is just, can we settle down? But you are not prepared financially, socially, spiritually, emotionally. You are not prepared. And I'm advising young people, before you get into marriage, at least read 3 books about marriage.
Yes.
Read 3 books, attend seminars ahead of your marriage. See counselors before the marriage itself. Open your eyes.
All right.
Yeah.
When you look at foundation of a strong marriage, how long does it take to build that marital foundation? And can a relationship reveal itself in terms of how weak or strong it is before marriage?
Oh, yes. All right. Now, one thing I want you to understand, before you enter into this institution, you must know the author of the institution. Because the Bible says that a 3-corn strand cannot be easily broken. Now, we understand that the third strand is God. So, before you build, you can't build outside the author.
Yes.
That is what I want to mean. So, knowing the author makes it easier for you to build. Your ignorance to the author makes you vulnerable to the modern challenges of today's marriages. Yes, and it shall be broken.
Yeah.
And you can move from one marriage to another until you get to understand who is the foundation, who is the author. So once you get the author, understand the design he wants us to do the marriage, the foundation will be strong.
Yeah, and when you look at marriage today, it doesn't collapse overnight.
It does.
It does not collapse overnight.
Nah,
It's eroded slowly, maybe through resentment,
poor
unresolved,
communication.
breakdown on unresolved conflict.
Yeah.
So, what are the early warning signs that a marriage is losing its foundation?
All right. Once you feel like I have forgiven my spouse for many times, like this one is beyond forgiveness. I remember when Jesus was speaking about forgiveness, he said we forgive 77 times 7. Like, I know Jesus, just before you read that scripture, you will understand that Pharisees trying to con Jesus about what do you understand about divorce, and Jesus was telling them that before it was not so. So Jesus was not supporting divorce. He was speaking about forgive and forgive and forgive. But now today we run away from forgiveness because I forgave him 5 years ago, 10 years ago, like now we are 20 years in marriage. So I'm like, I forgave you the first year, until now I'm forgiving you. What we need to understand is we must keep forgiving so that the communication, which is one of the pillars of a strong marriage, may not be broken. Once the communication break in a marriage, we just expect anything to happen to that marriage.
Yes.
Because now when the communication is broken, people begin now to they are thinking of your intentions instead of asking about the intentions. They just overthink what you want to do instead of asking Mike, how is this thing and that? Because there is no communication. People now begin to have resentments, bitterness. That's why now we are getting into mental health issues in our marriages. And the children are suffering so much because when the husband and the wife are not communicating, they begin to hamper bitterness in their hearts and unforgiveness, and now the children becomes on the receiving end. That's why we are seeing women, mothers killing their children, trying to drive a point to the husband.
To spite the husband.
I'm like, what have children done to you? Can we allow our children to live? It's so devastating.
And in that whole concept of conflict, marital conflict, you know, it can either strengthen or destroy a marriage.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, when you look at couples today and the whole aspect of marital conflict, what separates a couple that will grow through that conflict or will be broken by that conflict?
Just a perception and also mindset. You see, Mike, there is something that I believe that we may decide, I and my husband, we may decide to have maybe a third party to help us solve a conflict. And it can happen that only the wife is ready to solve the conflict or the husband alone. Somebody is out of the game. And a marriage cannot work when done by one person. Marriage is a handwork from both parties. So it means that if both of you are not ready to solve this problem, actually it cannot be solved. And I believe also the best people to solve a problem or a challenge in a marriage is both of you. So if all of you can have open mind that we can face this challenge together, I believe where there is a will, there is a way. Yes.
What do you believe is the core purpose of marriage today, Apostle? Is it companionship, raising children? Is it about economic partnership, spiritual growth, social expectation? What do you think is the purpose of marriage?
I once talked to my younger brother. I have a sibling who is not married, and he's in early 30s. I asked him, why are you not even introducing somebody to me? And he jokingly saying that I'll marry when I find a person whom we can help each other to foot bills. So there is a perception towards the issue of now. I'll settle if I'll get a person who can help me. Can I speak with all humility and honor? I believe this is where also our leadership is becoming questionable. I'm not saying that women should not help in footing bills. But anytime you tell your wife that this is a must do
for
you, and this is a must do for me, I'm telling you the authority will be broken in that marriage.
Because it's
As a
touching
man,
on provision?
Yes. As a man, if at all you are the one who is earning less, you need to raise up your game of leadership in a way that you are also controlling the finances of your wife.
When you mean controlling the finances of your wife, how does that play out?
It is not control per se, but influencing
Her decisions.
Into your leadership in such a way that if I'm earning 50,000 and my husband is earning 10 or 20, in a way, at the end of the month, we have total amount on the table. And the man is the one saying, can we do this? I can contribute towards the same. I feel like we do this. Until we get to that place.
Do you think that is applicable today?
It is. It is. It is. It's only that now the people who are ahead of us are not showing us the clear path. That is where now our generation is getting lost.
Unajua, there's a popular something that was said on social media. Ati marriage hubamba mafala. So what do you make of that?
You know, and I can agree. Marriage hubamba mafala because for you to remain in a marriage, you must be a fala to social media, to social practices ambazo zinaendelea. You must be a fala to what they are doing. Like a marriage, you can't do a marriage if you are so sensitive in what is happening, in what your peers are doing. You must be sensitive to what God is saying about marriage. Otherwise, kuwa fala kwa kile kitu anasema.
And what do you think social media has done in strengthening or weakening the marriage institution?
It is because now the fathers who are supposed to give counsel, you see the Bible speaking says that older women should guide the younger women. I believe same way that elderly men should guide the younger men that are upcoming when it comes to marital settlement. But we understand that us who have gone ahead are not taking the responsibility to guide the right way. So that when my girl child who is 13 years old, instead of coming to me, they are just going to the social media. They will be misguided.
Okay.
So can we take our responsibilities?
There's a popular argument that divorce rates are rising because women are no longer willing to endure what previous generations tolerated, and men still expect traditional authority structures. Is modern day marriage experiencing a collision where old expectations are not the same as the new realities?
But you see, when I look at that, Mike, I'm looking at it like my mother is 50 years in marriage, and whatever my mother knew or even knows now is not even half of what I know about marriage. Yet, the conflicts could be more in my own marriage than my mother. We need to ask ourselves, what did our mothers and fathers knew that we don't know today? It is because we are becoming hypersensitive about what is happening and what is not happening. Or it is a raising issue, how we are raising our children, upbringing iko na shida. What I can see is we need to get it right. We need to get it right. What were they doing that we do not do?
But then again,
are we ready?
Time now, there was no social media.
Exactly.
There was no this connectivity that we are talking about. Could it be that they tolerated a lot because, so to speak, there was not much information regarding marriage and what is going on?
I think there is, in as much as we are talking about pressures and influence, there is also an attack. There is, I'm sensing an attack in this institution. Because, Mike, you need to understand that a great leader comes from a home. A thief, a robber comes from this home. So the enemy knows that if I allow this institution to be founded in the word of God, then the society will change. So us, we need to understand what is happening in our marriages that was not happening before. Because we have been raised in those marriages. There were challenges. Our mother did not leave our fathers. But today, we are saying there are things I cannot take from my husband. There are things I cannot take from my wife. What is happening today? Does it also mean that we are getting into this institution with wrong perception? Even the day of wedding, you very well know, if it doesn't work, I have plan B. So actually it won't work. Because you are not going to make it work. You are entering to a...
Not even to a... It's like you're entering into marriage expecting your partner to fail.
That is it. And again also, we are entering into this institution loving the day of wedding, loving the celebration part of it, but you do not love the spouse that you are going to settle with. Like we are having a generation that is obsessed with marriage more than the partner. Like we just want to make it look nice, but surely inside something is wrong.
Finally, how do we make sure that marriages today have strong foundation?
We get back to the foundation. We get to know the other. There is another of the institution. Actually, this is the oldest institution that God made. He made it himself by his own hands. So he began the institution. We just need to go back to him. Can we listen to him? Can we see what we are not doing better, all according to his own agenda? We cannot do marriage according to the society, then we expect it to work. We must get the design of God when he decided to create this institution.
Yes.
That is the only healing.
There's a lot to talk about marriage, but Apostle, that was our time.
Oh.
And I thank you for making time
It is well, Mike.
to come and talk about the issues to do with modern day marriage. Asante sana. That is Apostle Helen Anthony, who is financial advisor, counselor, and founder of Marital Travel International. This conversation ends now. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike Migwi. This is where we put a full stop to the Good Morning Kenya program today. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. That was great.
Alu. Yo, nikimaliza unasemanga uweka mawe.
Kwani uliona uvae nguo za baba yako?
Naomba msaada wako.
Ni usaidizi gani? Uliona ile straight, ile inaitwa straight of Hamumus.
Hiyo nilionana naye lakini sikuwa nasikia njaa.
Nikwambia vizuri. Ukiona msichana mrembo hapa hivi akipita, mwambie arudi kwa plot.
Kwani ni wanaume wa wapi?
Yes, customer, habari.
Unafanya kazi ambayo si yako kwa nini? Kula hizo chakula zenu.
Wewe kwenda peleka huko mwesheshe.
We mzee, hii si chakula yangu.
Mambo yako ikienda tu chui.
Aenda kaya?
Enda lete nyama ingine.
Alikuja na panya yake.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
In a world where news is ever-changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news, and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts hear from the experts and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible
Yes.
to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
To run a marathon in under 2 hours, beating the mark by 20 seconds. The Kenyan, aged 34, covered the 26.2 miles, that's 42.2 kilometers, in 1 hour, 59 minutes and 40 seconds in the Ineos 159 Challenge in Vienna, Austria. It will not be recognized as the official marathon world record because it was not in open competition, and he used a team of rotating pacemakers. The Olympic champion, who holds the official marathon world record of 2 hours, 1 minute and 39 seconds, set in Berlin, Germany in 2018, missed out by 25 seconds in a previous attempt at the Italian Grand Prix circuit at Monza in 2017. Knowing he was about to make history on the home straight, the pacemakers dropped back to let Kipchoge sprint over the line alone, rode on by a large crowd in the Austrian capital. The four-time London Marathon winner embraced his wife Grace, grabbed a Kenyan flag and was mobbed by his pacemakers, including many of the world's best middle and long-distance runners. Kipchoge, who compared the feat to being the first man on the moon in build-up to the event, said he had made history, just as Britain's Sir Roger Bannister did in running the first sub-4-minute mile in 1954. To break the mark, he had to run 100 meters in 17.08 seconds, 422 times in a row at a speed of 21 kilometers per hour. The attempt was funded by petrochemicals company Ineos, owned by Britain's richest man, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, which also sponsors the cycling team of the same name.
Eliud Kipchoge has the hand of history on his shoulder. He has less than 200 meters to go. Eliud Kipchoge, let's keep an eye on the clock, into the final 20 seconds. Eliud Kipchoge on his shoulder, 140, the unofficial time.
There's his wife.
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books in Vienna. 1:59:40, the unofficial time. The first man to run a marathon in under 2 hours. One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge. One giant leap for human endeavor. And you know, Kipchoge was right. No human is limited.
Does take 65 years for a human being to make history in sport. After Roger Bannister made history in 1954, it took another 62 years